Chapter 4768. When Mo Yizhan and the others returned from their training, they realized that the number of people they had left behind had decreased significantly. When they asked about it, they flew into a rage. Back then, he had killed his way here without expending much of his troops. He had also been very restrained in the few battles with Zichen, trying his best not to send the people he had brought to their deaths. However, after a trip to the alternate world, he had lost 60% of his men. These 60% of his men had been dragged to attack Zichen's Qianwu world. Zichen had already returned, and the result was obvious. Idiots, what idiots! How could I, a dignified demon, listen to the Lei Yizheng family's words and attack Zichen's world? Mo Yizhan was really angry, so he didn't care if Mo Zhengtian was here or not. He directly cursed, "What right do those idiots have to decide when we should attack? I've fought Zichen for many years. How could I not know his methods? Idiots, what idiots! These are the troops I painstakingly trained. They were meant to be used in a big battle, but they were all lost just like that." Mo Yizhan was very pained. In the alternate world, his battle strength might be negligible, but in the Saint Spirit realm, as a commander, his words carried a lot of weight. After cursing angrily for a long time, Mo Yizhan noticed that Mo Zhengtian was also here, so he quickly bowed and apologized. "Forgive me, sir. Mo Zhengtian waved his hand and said, "I can understand your feelings of empathizing with your subordinates. However, what do you plan to do next?" Mo Yizhan said, "Continue to train our own people, then rest and recuperate." Mo Zhengtian was a little puzzled. "The current situation is extremely good for us, yet you still want to rest and recuperate? Aren't you being too cautious?" Mo Yizhan shook his head and explained, "Sir, you may not know this, but that Zichen is very cunning. We've fought many times, but we haven't been able to gain any advantage over him. Therefore, if I didn't have full confidence, I wouldn't have attacked Zichen." Mo Yizhan's eyes turned extremely cold. "Furthermore, I swore that I would definitely kill Zichen, so I definitely can't make a mistake in this matter. Because I can't always be lucky enough to escape from Zichen. I don't dare to take this risk." At the side, Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's also nodded repeatedly. In this matter, the two of them actually had the right to speak. Now that he thought about it, he was really lucky to have survived the confrontation with Zichen. But how many times could he maintain such good luck? Mo Zhengtian also had the same feeling. If Zichen really wanted to kill them, then the invincible Zichen in the other world could have easily annihilated them. Thinking back to Zichen in this alternate world, Mo Zhengtian's mood became much gloomier. Back then, when they had just entered this alternate world, both sides could still be considered to be at the same level. However, as time passed, the gap between them had only grown larger and larger. Zichen had already reached the level of invincibility, while they were merely leaders. They had not even reached the level of demons. Mo Zhengtian said, "Since that's the case, follow me from now on. I'll give you as many troops as you need. Also, for the time being, you don't have to deal with Zichen. Just try to occupy as much territory as possible." Mo Yizhan was a little hesitant. Even if he had lost 60% of his men, he still had 40%. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's were also a little nervous. They had just tasted the sweetness of following Mo Yizhan. If the other party left, what would the two of them do next? Mo Zhengtian said, "I'm afraid you guys don't know that after this trip to the other world ends, the situation in this world will change again. You, who have contributed greatly in the early stages, will also be incorporated in the later stages." Hearing this, the three of them were stunned. Clearly, they did not know about this. Looking at the three of them, Mo Zhengtian smiled and said, "A new situation has only truly appeared this time. Because it's time to truly decide life and death." Mo Zhengtian looked at Mo Yizhan and said, "My time is limited. I won't stay here for too long. Hurry up and make a decision." Mo Yizhan said without hesitation, "The few of us are willing to pledge our lives to you, sir." Seeing this, Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's immediately cupped their fists. At the same time, they felt an additional sense of gratitude towards Mo Yizhan. This was because the two of them knew very well that Mo Zhengtian only valued Mo Yizhan. The two of them were dispensable. Mo Yizhen's words pulled the three of them to a united front. Wait for my orders here. Before I return, this place will still be under your command. Yes, sir. Asterisk 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 asterisk. As more and more people returned from the other world, those who had died in the other world had come back to life, or those who had returned, all gathered in the Saint Spirit world. Among them, the ancient demon lords and divine lords who were comparable to ancient sacred lords also gathered in the Saint Spirit world. This was because they wanted to discuss the future of the Saint Spirit world. Everyone, since we're sitting together, let's have a good chat. You've all entered the other world and seen the opportunities. Although you didn't obtain them, don't all of you have hope in your hearts? The one who spoke was Old Man Ge from the God Clan. Then let's continue to nibble away. After the spirit world is divided into two, the God Clan and the Devil Clan will each occupy half. The one who spoke was Mo Lun, the ancient demon lord who had survived back then. He was an old opponent of Chung Ho and the others. That's true, but right now, I feel that we still need to kill Zichen first. Old Man Ge said, you've all seen what happened this time. Zichen is too cunning, so we have to be on guard against him. Right now, it's a great opportunity to kill him. Once he breaks through to become a sacred lord, we'll be in big trouble. Eugene from the Devil Clan said, Zichen is indeed a danger, but if we kill him now, won't we be in big trouble? Don't forget, Chung Ho and the others are still alive. At this stage, we might not be able to gain any benefits from dealing with Zichen. Old Man Ge said, if we can't kill him now, it will be even more difficult to kill him in the future. No one can be invincible all the time. How powerful was Zichen back then? But in the end, he was killed before he could even survive the second half of the battle. There are others who are comparable to Zichen. Which one of them is weak? But in the end, they were all killed. Eugene said, Zichen is definitely going to die, but I don't think it's time now. Once we use too many troops to deal with Zichen, our progress in other areas will be slowed down. Now, the Spirit Clan no longer has the will to fight. The territory is completely given to us. Instead of that, why don't we take over the territory first? When the rules of heaven and earth are close to us, then it's better for us to train people to kill Zichen. In the end, Eugene looked at Old Man Ge and asked, what do you think about this? Old Man Ge pondered for a moment and said, I think we should first kill Zichen at all costs. If you don't agree, then we'll wait until the last moment to kill Zichen. But I hope that the moment will be when he becomes a sacred lord. Old Man Ge alone could speak for the God Clan, so the other devils looked at each other and nodded in agreement. Chapter 4769. After the matter was settled, Old Ge led the Supremes of the God Clan and transformed into a beam of light and left. Following that, the God Clan and the Demon Clan began their invasion plan. Why didn't the Demon Clan agree to such a great opportunity? In the void, one of the Supremes looked at Old Ge and asked in confusion. Old Ge smiled mockingly. Naturally, they feel that it's not worth it to make a move now. They can't maximize their own benefits. In general, the Demon Clan is currently weaker than us, so they deliberately left Zichen with room to grow. At the same time, they also gave those future demon gods some time to grow. Those who have obtained the demon god's inheritance. Do they really have a chance to become demon gods? The Supremes were a little surprised. They can only become experts. If they want to become demon gods, it will depend on their luck. However, even if they become demon gods, so what? The demon gods from back then are already dead, let alone those who are neither fish nor fowl now. Old Ge smiled faintly. The Great Tao this time does not favor the Demon Clan. The only one favored by the Great Tao is Zichen. Asterisk 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 asterisk. After Old Ge left, the Demon Clan did not disperse. They remained there. Eugene looked at them. What do you think? Old Ge has always been treacherous and cunning. Don't be fooled by how he looks like he wants Zichen dead. In fact, he doesn't want Zichen to be killed just like that. Demonic Wheel said mockingly, does he think we don't know if he brought it up first? Zichen must be the foundation of the Spirit Clan's Great Tao. That's why he wants to kill him the moment he becomes a supremacy. That way, the Spirit Clan's foundation will tilt toward him. Who knows, he might even be able to become invincible in this world after obtaining that blessing. In the current supremacy realm, there was no such thing as invincible. Everyone was an expert, but there was no such thing as the strongest. However, there was someone below the supremacy realm. That person was Zi-Chen. He was the undisputed number one. Not only in the Saint Spirit domain, but he was also the number one person who could suppress both the God and demon domains. This was recognized by all the Supremes and Ancient Supremes, so they had to be very careful when dealing with Zi-Chen, the number one person. Right now, we can only wait for them to grow. As for Zi-Chen, we don't have to worry about him. Eugene smiled coldly. But we can't do nothing. Zi-Chen is too strong, and he has the blessing of the Great Tao. So, during this period, we have to isolate him first. We can make use of this dispute with the Lei Zheng family. Oh, and I heard that Zi-Chen is seeking revenge. We can use this to our advantage. In short, we have to isolate him at all costs. The current Saint Spirit realm had become lively again because of Zi-Chen's appearance. The impact on the resources that had been caused by the invasion of the gods and demons had eased a little because of the huge sales of the crystal balls. Every day, there would be people following Zi-Chen and taking pictures of what he was doing. However, because Zi-Chen used teleportation, everyone could only take pictures of one place. Just as Zi-Chen had said, every place he went to, every family he went to, was a traitor of the Tianwu continent. Zi-Chen did not care what the reason for the betrayal was, whether it was passive or active. In short, after he arrived, he only asked for compensation and did not kill anyone. At least, he had not killed anyone yet. No one dared to question Zi-Chen's decision. Furthermore, as the news spread along the way, it was obvious that as long as the resources were given, the matter would be settled. On one side was the danger of being exterminated, and on the other side was the compensation of resources. It was not difficult to choose, so everyone was very tactful. No one knew when it started, but there were some discordant voices. At first, Zi-Chen did not pay attention to them, but they became more and more intense. As these voices that were unfavorable to Zi-Chen spread, the ones who were most worried and afraid were not Zi-Chen, but the families that Zi-Chen had not been to yet. That was because, with Zi-Chen's temper, it was very likely that he would kill someone in a rage. Therefore, when Zi-Chen arrived, they very happily took out the resources, and then sent Zi-Chen away with trepidation as if they were sending off the god of plague. Zi-Chen walked around the Saint Spirit world, causing the Saint Spirit world to become especially lively again. However, because of the invasion of the gods and demons, the situation became more tense, and Zi-Chen's popularity decreased. As for the goal of isolation, no one knew if it had been achieved, because Zi-Chen had always been moving alone. Zi-Chen returned to the Tianwu continent. It had returned to its original state, but the liveliness was not as good as before. This world had unlimited development potential, but its biggest shortcoming was the Saint Venerables. Without a powerful Saint Venerable overseeing it, in this chaotic era, it was not safe. Furthermore, because of Zi-Chen's uniqueness, it was more dangerous to come here. After understanding this point, Zi-Chen went to the demon suppressing gate again. Now, this place existed in name only, and the demon race had long since given up on coming in. "Why are you here?" When Chung Ho saw Zi-Chen, he said snappily. It should be because Liu Shangyao did not give him a good face after returning. Chung Ho was too lazy, otherwise, he would have been able to bring back a lot of high-quality inner cores this time. "I want to find Sister Cold Maiden," Zi-Chen said. "What for?" Chung Ho looked at Zi-Chen warily. "I need a Saint Venerable to oversee it. After thinking about it, I still feel that Sister Cold Maiden is more suitable." Zi-Chen smiled slightly. Not suitable at all." Chung Ho's eyes lit up, and immediately said, "What's the point of having a Saint Venerable overseeing it? At least two are suitable." Patting Zi-Chen's shoulder, Chung Ho said, "Good brother, don't worry, leave this matter to me. When the time comes, the two of us will personally oversee it." Liu Shangyao and the others were not far away. At this moment, they were all looking at Chung Ho with disdain. Zichen turned and cupped his fists. Seniors, if you want to change places, you can also go to the Martial Heaven continent. There is good wine and good food there. I will definitely treat you with great hospitality. A Saint Venerable smiled. There is no need for good wine and good food. It would be good if there were other things. Zichen smiled. There are also devil cores. If you like them, you can go to the Martial Heaven continent. Everyone naturally coveted such things, but when Chung Ho looked at them with ill intentions, they shook their heads and declined Zichen's good intentions. Cold Maiden was not here. She had not returned from delivering resources to Xian and the others. As for Chung Ho, his words were not reliable. Zichen looked at them and said, I still have some refining materials here. Why don't we work together? How do we work together? Liu Shangyaro was curious. Zichen took out a set of devil bones, refined them into weapons. You can keep a portion for yourselves, or I can pay you with devil cores as compensation. A few people were drawn over. They had never seen such a level of jade bone before. Chapter 4770. This level of jade bone was naturally the best. It could even be said to be the best. As an ancient sacred venerate, they had already lost interest in many things in this world. However, the evil demon jade bone from another world was definitely not one of them. They were very interested in refining it into a weapon because they wanted to see how powerful it was. Furthermore, there were rewards to be had. This matter was settled just like that. Zichen left behind a few jade bones for the sacred venerates to refine. As for the other materials, the sacred venerates already had them. Furthermore, the quality was not low. Zichen did not need to waste materials. Before leaving, Zichen raised his head to look at the lei tree. It had existed for a very long time. It definitely had its own story. Unfortunately, the lei tree did not like him. After Zichen returned, he pondered on how to spread this news. A world with a sacred venerate overseeing it was already extraordinary. Furthermore, it was an ancient sacred venerate. It had to be known that the large Holy Thunder clan only had one ancient sacred venerate, Lei Zhangke. After pondering for a long time, Zichen could not think of a good idea. He could only look for Jolina. When Jolina heard Zichen's explanation, she smiled and said, "This is too simple." "Oh, you have a good idea. Can you make people think that we are not deliberately using this method to gather popularity?" Zichen looked at Jolina. Jolina said, "If we spread the news, we would naturally be at a disadvantage. Thus, we need others to spread the news. This is also very simple. Increase the rent for the current shops. Then, increase the rent for the shops that are about to come. At the same time, increase the price for those who are hesitating whether or not to come to the Tianwu continent for a long time. As for the reason, there is no need to make it clear. Just mention it to those large families." Zichen's eyes lit up. This method was indeed very clever. Using other people's mouths to spread the news that Zichen wanted. This method was naturally good because those large families were all shrewd people. Not only would they not be disgusted by it, they might even speed up the process of coming in. After all, there would be at least 2 ancient holy sovereigns joining the Martial Heaven continent. There might even be more. Almost everyone had guessed that Zichen had the protection of the ancient sacred sages, but they had never confirmed it. The previous trip to the other world could be considered to have been confirmed. This time, it was only relatively public. There was no need for Zichen to worry about this matter at all. Jolina could handle it on her own. Moreover, it was the families who secretly asked for the information through their connections. After that, the news spread as expected. Regardless of whether it was true or not, many families moved to the Martial Heaven continent. As for those who were hesitant, it was needless to say. As the price soared, they had no choice but to believe it. Thus, in an extremely short period of time, the popularity of the Sky Martial continent recovered to its original level, and even showed signs of surpassing it. Zichen, on the other hand, did not refuse anyone, which attracted even more people. Among them, there was no lack of wealthy existences who had lost their homes and decided to settle down in the Martial Heaven continent. Among these people, Jolene would also choose a group of people to sign a contract with. This would guarantee that if the martial heaven continent was in trouble, everyone would work together to fight. Of course, these people would have to pay a much lower price than others. Not everyone would be willing to sign a contract. They would still need to be tested. Perhaps in the end, they would be able to obtain permanent residence in the Tianwu world without paying any price. They might even be able to obtain some benefits. It was just like Luo Chishure. In the past, he had nothing, but now he was a famous expert of the martial heaven continent. All his cultivation resources were provided by the martial heaven continent. Furthermore, Luo Chishure's benefits to the martial heaven continent were enormous. He had followed Zi Chen in his early years, and he had almost died a second time in battle. With the chaos of war everywhere, the martial heaven continent was no longer prepared to continue expanding. Right now, their territory was limited. Jolene's matter had come to an end. Following Zi Chen's instructions, she began to focus on cultivating. If her talent wasn't enough, she could make up for it with resources. Right now, the martial heaven continent had plenty of resources. Let alone Jolene, even if it was a pig, Zi Chen would be able to raise it to the level of a 9-star divine spirit. The only restriction was that the martial heaven continent had yet to give birth to a single holy sovereign. Zi Chen had no holy sovereigns, and Tasha had no holy sovereigns. However, they had quite a few 9-star divine spirits. They had contributed greatly to this battle. After so many years of development, as well as many battles, everyone had accepted the existence of Tasha and the others. Now, they could freely enter any of Zi Chen's cities. They could do business with the people here. Zi Chen had even specially set up shops for them in various cities. Zi Chen hadn't used the Niden he had obtained yet. Using the original resources, he would be able to advance. Furthermore, after returning, he could clearly sense that his body had changed. He wasn't far from becoming a holy sovereign. While the martial heaven continent was flourishing, the flames of war were raging in other parts of the Saint Spirit world. Even more gods and devils had come to the Saint Spirit world. This time, not only had their numbers increased, but the number of experts had also increased. Some of these teams were clearly elite existences. Just as Mo Zhengtian had said before he left, Mo Yizhan and the others who had come to open up the battlefield had all been reorganized this time. Some of the royal families and sovereign families had come here and officially took over their teams. The direction of the Saint Spirit world had been handed over to them. After Mo Zhengtian returned, he came again. This time, he had brought even more people for Mo Yizhan. However, he had also come with a mission. He looked at Mo Yizhan and said, "I'll give you as many people as you want. However, the prerequisite is that you have to defeat the Holy Thunder clan." This was a death order. However, it also represented limitless contribution points. Mo Yizhan said awkwardly, "The Holy Thunder clan is a famous clan. It's too difficult to defeat them. Just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. If you need anything in the meantime, just tell me," said Mo Zhengtian. Mo Yizhan thought for a moment and said, "Since that's the case, let's first conquer the star regions around the Holy Thunder clan. Let them be completely isolated. This way, we'll be able to obtain contribution points. We can also plan for the future. If we directly attack the Holy Thunder clan, we'll have to fight for hundreds or thousands of years. Not only will we suffer huge losses, we won't be able to give the clan any benefits." Mo Zhengtian nodded and said, "All right. I'll leave this matter to you. Furthermore, you've been too benevolent to the regions that we've conquered. It's not good for them to not fear us. Those spirit race members are ants. They don't have the qualifications to be on the same level as us. You have to make an example out of them. You have to let them know who's the master and who's the slave." Chapter 4771. When Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's were heard this, they nodded excitedly. The two of them rubbed their fists and rubbed their palms together. They had long since disliked those spirit race people. Those damned bastards, how dare they be on the same level as us? If Mo Yizhan hadn't set the rules, they would have killed them long ago. But on this matter, Mo Yizhan had his own insistence. He shook his head and said, "No. The regions I've conquered have to operate like this. Mo Zhengtian's eyes immediately turned cold. What did you say? Mo Yizhen cupped his fists and said, I'm sorry, my lord. The regions I've conquered have to operate like this. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's were anxious. Why go against their lord for a bunch of ants? Why? Mo Zhengtian said unhappily. I need a reason. Mo Yizhen shook his head again. There's no reason. Mo Zhengtian's eyes narrowed. So you're saying that you're going to ignore my orders? If this is an order that cannot be disobeyed, then I'm willing to use all my merits to exchange for it. At the same time, I hope that my lord can promise me that no matter which region we conquer, you can't force me to do anything against my will. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's were anxious. Good fellow, you've already disobeyed orders, and now you're still bargaining. Do you want to die? Mo Zhengtian was really unhappy this time. I heard that you used to be from the spirit race, and that the surname Mo was obtained through marriage. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's expressions changed. They had once mocked Mo Yi-chan behind his back, but it had to be said that Mo Yi-chan was very capable. His former identity as a spirit clan member, as well as the Mo surname that he had obtained from marrying into the family, was his greatest weakness. Yes, my lord. Mo Yizhen nodded. Almost everyone in the demon race knew about this, so there was nothing to hide. You've been very kind to the spirit race since you came here because you used to be like them, right? This question was a bit harsh. If he didn't answer well, he might become a traitor. After all, after coming here, Mo Yizhen's attitude towards the spirit race had always been criticized. If it weren't for the fact that he had obtained the most merits, conquered the cities the fastest, and suffered the least losses, he would have been investigated by the higher-ups long ago. You can say that. Mo Yizhen nodded again. I feel that it's not easy to come to this world. It's even easier to live peacefully in this era of turmoil. If I can survive, I will. After all, being alive is better than anything else. Mo Zhengtian didn't get angry when he heard this. Instead, he smiled and said, I know why you treat the spirit race differently. It's not just because of your identity as a member of the spirit race. In fact, you want to leave a way out for yourself and others. Mo Yi's trembling body suddenly shook, and the look in her eyes also changed. This slight movement did not escape Mo Zhengtian's eyes. However, do you think that we, who have failed, will still have a chance to return? Failure meant death, and there was no way to return. You're still too childish, so you can't see through it, and you can't see it clearly. Even if we lose one day, you won't be able to live. You won't be able to live either. No one will be able to live. Mo Zhengtian patted Mo Yi's trembling shoulder. But if you insist, then so be it. It's just a thought. But there is a prerequisite. Don't make any mistakes. If the march is delayed because of this, then don't blame me for not remembering our old friendship. Mo Zhengtian left. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's heaved a huge sigh of relief. Previously, they had really walked through the gates of hell. If Mo Zhengtian went crazy and killed Mo Yi-chan, they believed that he would not let the two of them go. So this really was your backup plan. Did you really think that we would lose in such a favorable situation? Mo Yangdan's asked after Mo Zhengtian left. In fact, there had always been discussions about Mo Yi's actions. Naturally, there were also speculations. Today, this speculation was pointed out by Mo Zhengtian. Who knows what will happen in the future? But anything is possible. It's better to take precautions in advance than to do nothing. Mo Yi sighed in the end. If I had a choice, I would rather leave now and return to the demon world. The constant war had made her feel tired. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's exchanged a glance. The two didn't say anything, but they didn't agree with Mo Yi's words. As a member of the demon race, how could they not have the courage to fight? However, they couldn't say this to Mo Yi. Even if they did, it would be useless because Mo Yi wasn't a pure demon race member. Zi Chen went to a noodle house to eat a bowl of noodles. He covered his face and walked on the streets of the city, looking at the people coming and going. Compared to before, this place was even more lively. Han Enyu had already come to the Sky Marshal continent. In the past, she had to protect the demon-suppressing sect and had always been busy. But now that she was free, she spent most of her time walking around the shops and choosing some exquisite accessories. There was no woman who didn't love beauty. Chung Ho followed behind her. It was because of the addition of these two ancient sacred sovereigns that Zi Chen had greater confidence in the future of this world. It was just that there were battles everywhere, but he couldn't go out to fight. He felt somewhat ashamed. Now, there was new news coming every day. For example, after the god and demon race returned from the other world, they launched an even stronger attack. During this period, many well-trained elite soldiers and experts came. There were even half-step sacred sovereigns who appeared in some of the battles. The god and demon race forced the various large factions to go out and fight. Even the Holy Thunder clan began to send reinforcements to other regions. However, the effect wasn't obvious. After so many years of fighting, the spirit race had lost their spirit, so they were defeated in every battle. And after they lost, everyone began to retreat. As for those existences with endless wealth, they left early on to find protection in other places. Those who stayed were those who didn't have the ability to escape. Mo Yijan once again stepped onto the battlefield, but he still followed his original method. He only surrounded but didn't kill. At the same time, he tried to reason with them. Just like that, the nearby planets surrendered one by one. Mo Yijan led people to settle down and familiarize themselves with the situation. After taking a portion of the resources, they went to a second planet. Mo Zhengtian also kept his word. Ever since he had agreed to Mo Yijan's request, he no longer ordered him around. On this day, Mo Di and Mo Yang arrived at the front lines alone. Their expressions were extremely ugly. Mo Yijan looked at the two of them and asked, "What happened?" Mo Di said angrily, "Rumors have appeared again. They say that you're not attacking the spirit race because you're colluding with them. They say that you're doing this to preserve the spirit race's strength. One day, you'll cooperate with the spirit race and destroy the demon race here." Mo Yijan nodded to show that he understood. After that, there was no other reaction. "How can you be so calm?" Mo Di said unhappily, "Can't you see the situation? Right now, we need a tough battle to break those rumors. We can't let it continue like this. It's just rumors. They can't cause any real harm to us. But if we fight now, all the trust we've accumulated over the years will go down the drain." Chapter 4772. Mo Yijan was very calm about these rumors. After all, there were rumors, and they had never decreased. But compared to the merits Mo Yijan had obtained, these rumors were nothing. Of course, the higher-ups did not care. But this time, the rumors seemed to be more intense than before. Mo Di said, "We'll still follow the previous rules for the worlds we conquered. But won't it be fine if we attack the next worlds? We can't change this." On some matters, Mo Yijan was stubborn. And in his opinion, if they could take down one city after another without bloodshed, they could preserve their strength and obtain resources. It was killing two birds with one stone. Why not? Mo Di and Mo Yang Danzue had no choice but to retreat. But the rumors did not disappear because of Mo Yijan's silence. Instead, they became more and more intense. In the end, the rumors were not just attacking Mo Yijan, but all the demons in Mo Yijan's group. For example, they were called cowards and cowards. To the strong demons, this was simply a great humiliation. Thus, there were many discordant voices in Mo Yijan's group. Everyone's hearts were filled with anger, and their attitude towards the spirit race had changed. Mo Di and Mo Yang Danzue were anxious. If this continued, there might be a mutiny. At the same time, the prestige that Mo Yijan had accumulated might dissipate in an extremely short period of time. Not only that, there had been some rumors recently that Mo Yijan had colluded with Zi Chen of the Spirit Clan, and the rumors seemed to be true. Because of this rumor, Mo Zhengtian, who was fighting in other places, had specially rushed back. "Even Sir has returned. It seems that the situation is much more serious than I imagined. It's obvious that someone is targeting us." Mo Yijan looked at Mo Zhengtian. "I wonder if Sir has heard any other rumors recently?" Mo Zhengtian shook his head, but he already understood what Mo Yijan meant. This time, someone was targeting Mo Yizhen, and it was the kind of person who would not give up. Naturally, this person had a big background, and it was very likely that this person had a grudge with Mo Zhengtian. You have to change your fighting style. Otherwise, there really will be problems, Mo Zhengtian said in a deep voice. Mo Zhengtian said in a deep voice, right now, the news of you colluding with Zi Chen has spread like wildfire. Regardless of whether it's true or not, it's still good to put on an act. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan's also nodded, completely agreeing with Mo Zhengtian's words. Mo Yi was in a difficult position. Hey, Liu Zhen, come out. Suddenly, a voice came from outside. Hearing this voice, the expressions of the 4 people in the room changed. This was because this voice was simply too familiar. The 4 of them walked out at the same time and saw Zi Chen standing there with a smile on his face. Zi Chen, how dare you come to our place? A cold light flashed in Mo Di's eyes as he angrily rebuked. What? Do you think you can kill me? Zi Chen smiled faintly. At a time like this, shouldn't you be worried about yourselves? Zi Chen's eyes suddenly turned cold. Do you believe me? Do you think I can kill you from here? The expressions of the 4 of them froze, and then they went into a state of alert. In the outside world, there were already demons who noticed the abnormal situation here and began to surround this place. A smile reappeared on Zi Chen's face. Don't worry, I won't attack you today. My purpose for coming here today is actually very simple. It's to discuss a cooperation with Mo Yichan, who is also Liu Zhen back then. At some point in the future, I'll kill you all. Zi Chen continued, I'm afraid you all don't know, but I've seen this Liu Zhen a long time ago. Moreover, our relationship is very good and we've always been communicating. This time, the 2 of us were originally on a secret mission. I didn't expect that your experts would discover it in advance, so I could only come here personally. Zi Chen didn't suppress his voice when he spoke, so the people outside who surrounded them could hear him clearly. Their faces were expressionless, but naturally, only they knew what they were thinking. Mo Zhengtian did not say anything, because this was too absurd. The aura around Zi Chen's body suddenly changed, and then he said coldly, Today, I, Zi Chen, will speak here. Mo Yichan is my, Zi Chen's, good friend, and also my ally. Over the years, we have cooperated very happily, and at the same time, I am very grateful to him for sending so many demons to the Sky Martial continent, becoming a resource for my world's development. So, if anyone dares to kill Mo Yichan because of me, then don't blame me, Zi Chen, for being impolite. Zi Chen immediately extended his hand and made a vow with an extremely solemn expression. I, Zi Chen, swear here that if anyone kills my ally, Mo Yichan, no matter if it's 10,000 years later or 100,000 years later, I will find him and personally take revenge for Mo Yichan. Mo Yi trembled as he held his forehead, and said helplessly, I say, can you be any more ruthless? Zi Chen vowed, don't worry, I will definitely avenge you. Mo Yi trembled again, I am just a small fry, how can I trouble a big shot like Lord Zi Chen to target me? Zi Chen laughed, am I not bored? With that, Zi Chen's figure soared into the air, and then looked down at the surrounding demons. I heard that all of you have become cowards. In my opinion, you don't even dare to fight, so you are all cowards. A wave of killing intent surged out, locking onto Zi Chen who was in the sky. Zi Chen laughed, the door to my Sky Martial continent will always be open for you. If you want to fight, you can go find my good friend, Mo Yichan, and he will lead you to attack my world. However, I'm afraid that you won't dare. The killing intent below suddenly paused. They did want to fight and kill, but they did not say that they wanted to go to Zi Chen's world. Because that world, from the looks of it, was the same as Zi Chen, an invincible world. Without absolute power, it was impossible to take down that world. And this absolute power, other than military strength, also required holy masters, and even more holy masters. If they went over now, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Look, I gave you a chance, but you weren't willing to go. Then you can't blame me. Everyone, I will take my leave now. Zi Chen's figure was like a rainbow as he flew out of this world. Mo Zhengtian and the others could only watch as their great enemy left. If the Holy Master did not move, they would not dare to move, because they might be killed. And this time, The purpose of Zichen's appearance was very simple. It was to hope that Mo Yi-chan would be killed. Watching Zichen leave, Mo Yi-chan smiled bitterly. This plan is not brilliant, but the things that need to be done are not small. Forget it. In any case, the peaceful years will not last for long. The few of them nodded. There might be more rumors to come. Chapter 4773. Zichen came in a hurry and left in a hurry, leaving no ripples behind. However, it caused quite a stir in Mo Yizhan's team. The demon race, who had always been belligerent, encountered Zichen's provocation, or rather, challenge. What should they do? Mo Yizhan took this opportunity to crusade against Zichen. Now, Mo Yizhan began to recruit teams, but those who had been clamoring to fight did not sign up. Obviously, everyone knew that going to deal with Zichen now was simply courting death. Mo Yizhan did not recruit enough people to deal with Zichen. This was not unexpected, so he settled for the next best thing and prepared to attack other star regions. The road ahead would not be smooth. Battles would always happen. If he could smoothly take down the Holy Thunder clan, he would be very happy. In order to speed up the process, Mo Yizhan personally went out to fight. Of course, he still mainly relied on persuasion. If those star regions did not agree to surrender, he would choose to attack. However, Mo Yizhan was not willing to go to that step, at least not now. When the demon race invaded, the major forces still only sent out a small number of reinforcements, so they were defeated. As the failure intensified, different voices rang out. It was about the Great Tao's favor. The meaning was obvious. If the spirit race of the Saint Spirit realm did not counterattack, a large area would fall and be occupied by gods and demons. The laws of heaven and earth would have a great impact on the spirit race. It was possible that the original favor would become the final target and suppression. Today, we will not tell stories about Zichen's deeds. Today, we will only tell stories. A white-robed old man sat at the top. He glanced at the drinkers around him, smiled, and said, "This is a story about 3 brothers. The 3 brothers grew up and had their own families. They had families one after another and lived happily." The old man picked up a bowl of wine beside him, took a sip, and smacked his lips. The story had just begun, so it was normal that no one rewarded him. When you live a happy life for a long time, some things will happen. The second brother and the third brother saw that the eldest brother's life was very good and felt very uncomfortable. So one day, they brought their children to the eldest brother's house and robbed him. The boss led his men to resist, but they were no match for the 2 of them. After snatching the boss, the 2 of them were still unwilling to give up and decided to take over the boss's house. However, eldest brother has lived here for many years and has long gotten used to everything here, so when second brother and third brother moved in, they weren't used to it at first. However, slowly, as the second and third brothers stayed here for a long time, they gradually adapted to this place. As for the eldest brother, who was originally the owner of this house, because he was constantly bullied by the 2 of them, he slowly lost his status in this family and was even ostracized. Just as the story reached this point, someone shouted in dissatisfaction, "What kind of lousy story is this? We want to listen to Zichen. I heard that you're very good at portraying Zichen. Tell me about Zichen." Everyone else agreed. This story was too boring. The old man was not angry. Instead, he chuckled and said, "Everyone, don't be impatient. This story may sound dry and boring, but if you look at it from a bigger perspective, isn't it interesting? Scram, scram, scram. We don't want to listen to this. We want to listen to Zichen. That's right. Tell us about how Zichen killed demons. It'll raise our spirits." Faced with the crowd's heckling, the old man was still not angry. He smiled and said, "Everyone, in this world, there is only one Zichen. However, there are many existences like eldest brother. If you keep backing down, there will be no place for you in the future." At that moment, a young man stood up and said, "I think I understand what elder means. Eldest brother is from the spirit race, while second brother and third brother are from the god race and the demon race. Now that the god race and the demon race have invaded the spirit realm, because they are new here, they will be affected by the natural laws. However, If they stay here for a long time and familiarize themselves with everything here, the natural laws will no longer suppress them. At that time, the ones who will be suppressed will be the spirit race that eldest brother represents. When these words were spoken, the crowd suddenly fell silent. Because everyone understood what the young man meant. This meant the future of the spirit race. The old man smiled and said, "This old man isn't thinking that far ahead. I'm just trying to make a living and ask for a reward." The young man continued, "However, elder, have you ever thought about this problem? If second brother and third brother work together to take care of the house, they might do a better job than eldest brother. Look at the current situation. Which one of those in power in eldest brother's house isn't selfish to the extreme? Which one of the major factions isn't selfish? Right now, many of their own people can't stand it. Perhaps they all want the god race and the demon race to take over. Let's not talk about anything else. Take Zi Chen for example. What kind of genius is he? What kind of extraordinary existence is he? But what happened in the end? None of the major factions are on good terms with him. In fact, they all want him to die. There are other existences who silently contribute to the spirit realm. What do they get in return? Thus, such a spirit realm has changed long ago. It should have been destroyed long ago. The white-robed old man stood up and waved his hand. This is just a story. You can't take it seriously. You old man, you're still here trying to mislead people with your lies. Leave quickly. At this moment, a group of people suddenly walked in. The person in the lead was wearing armor. He looked at the white-robed old man and gave him an order to expel him. The old man hurriedly got up. After packing up his belongings, he hurriedly left. As for the drinkers, they all fell into deep thought. After the old man left, the young man also left this place. He was Shun Hao. He had come here to take care of some matters. He happened to hear the old man's words. After the white-robed old man left, he saw the black-robed old man waiting not far away. Looking at the former's wretched appearance, the black-robed old man said, "Why do you have to do this? No matter what happens to the spirit realm in the future, it has nothing to do with you or me. Now, you meddle in other people's business. You can't stay here any longer and have to leave." "It will get better," the white-robed old man murmured. The white-robed old man mumbled. The two of them left this world together and headed to the next place. Every time the white-robed old man went to a place, he would tell the same story. Thus, he continued to be expelled. Gradually, a rumor appeared in various places in the saint spirit realm. Once the gods and demons completely occupied the saint spirit realm, the rules of heaven and earth would be reversed. It would be disadvantageous to the cultivation of the spirit clan. Perhaps, in the future, there would no longer be a place for the spirit clan to cultivate in. This news became more and more intense. Naturally, the major factions knew about it. Whether or not there would be rules to suppress them was up for debate. In the Sacred Planet clan, an old man who had lived for an unknown number of years and was leaning on a walking stick came to the residence of the clan leader. Chapter 4774. The Lord of the Sacred Star stood up to show his respect for the old man. He had listened to the old man's words. However, after hearing the old man's words, he could not understand. Why are the large clans the ones suffering the most? The old man's body trembled as he said agitatedly, because the large clans receive the most grace and favor. When they are suppressed, their losses are naturally the greatest. We, who are blessed by the heavens, are like the managers of this world. Once there is a problem in this world, wouldn't the managers be the first ones to look for? So that's how it is. The Lord of the Sacred Star nodded and said, "Spread this news. The Sacred Star clan will go all out in the next battle. The advance of the gods and demons was finally stopped by the full participation of the major powers. The war had truly erupted, even if the major powers did not send out their main forces. The four great sacred clans, the 5 elements aristocratic clans, the other clans, and the sacred domain powers all took action, blocking the armies of the gods and demons. At the same time, in order to regain the trust and popularity that they had lost back then, the major powers began to reward them. As the saying goes, When there is a great reward, there will be brave men. One after another, death squads appeared and slaughtered the gods and demons. The hunting squads that had caused the demons to suffer a great loss back then once again appeared in front of the world. However, compared to the stalemate of the various battles, the demons led by Mo Ijan were still advancing courageously. The Holy Thunder clan also sent troops to help, but they did not put in as much effort as the other sacred clans. Hence, under the attack of Mo Ijan's troops, they began to retreat. In fact, they were retreating rhythmically. This made people very confused, and they could not figure out why. Could it be that the Great Holy Thunder clan was really going to give up the favor of the Great Tao and give everything they had to the demons? After a series of battles, Mo Ijan's men conquered all the star regions around the Holy Thunder clan. Other than Zi Chen's Qianwu continent, there was only one Holy Thunder clan. Furthermore, there was a small star region within the Holy Thunder clan that Mo Ijan had conquered in advance. For some reason, the people of the Holy Thunder clan did not reclaim these lost lands, even though they had been sending people out. The Holy Thunder clan was an extremely large clan. It was made up of many clans, and one of them was a colossus like Lei Zheng. After countless years of development, the Holy Thunder clan had accumulated a terrifying amount of resources. But for some reason, they weren't able to display it in this battle. After all, the other clans were able to stop the gods and demons, but not the Holy Thunder clan. In the eyes of the world, the Holy Thunder clan had lost all of its prestige and face. This time, they were unable to stop their opponents. Naturally, they would become a joke. In fact, everyone in the Holy Thunder clan was anxious. During this period, they had sent out countless requests, but no one responded. The Holy Thunder clan was still in a state of disunity. There were no orders from the higher-ups, and the lower-ranked clans were perfunctory. Those extreme core members who represented the strongest combat power of the Holy Thunder clan could no longer sit still. To be able to become an extreme core member after so many years of assessment, it was obvious that they had extremely good values. After their repeated requests for battle were to no avail, they went directly to the city lord of the core city. The status of an extreme core member was already very high. With so many extreme core members appearing, it was even more impressive. The city lord welcomed them personally, and then helplessly told them the truth. He had been sending out messages, but there was no response from the higher-ups. That was why he didn't make any moves. As for why Lei Zhengke didn't respond, no one knew. Perhaps he was in seclusion. In desperation, Lei Wusheng and the others went to find the holy sage Lei Di. He was definitely the second most powerful person in the Holy Thunder clan. When they came, Lei Wusheng brought the city lord along. Regardless of his strength, the other party's method of kicking the ball around was quite brilliant. Therefore, he had to hear the holy sage's orders clearly. After explaining the situation, the holy sage Lei Di only had one sentence. If there is no order from the higher-ups, are we going to abandon this clan? His words woke everyone up. Most importantly, with Lei Di's words, the city lord didn't have to take responsibility anymore. However, the extreme core members were still under Lei Zhengke's personal control. Therefore, no one could order them, including the city lord. However, the city lord thought of a way. Under his suggestion, Lei Wusheng went back and released the news that they were willing to participate in the battle. For a time, the extreme core members signed up for the battle one after another. Since they were willing to participate in the battle, of course, there was no reward. Similarly, if they were injured, there would be no compensation. Even so, there were still extreme core members signing up. It could be seen that each of them really wanted to protect the Holy Thunder clan. At the same time, the city lord mobilized people. Some of them were core disciples, and some extreme core members were sent to the periphery to provide support. After these people were sent out, he immediately summoned the families to discuss the matter of sending out troops. No one had any objections to sending out troops. After all, the other party was already at their doorstep. If they didn't fight, their home would be gone. Without a home, everything would be gone. The silent crowd almost agreed to this matter. At that moment, the people of the Lei Jing family expressed a different opinion at this crucial moment. Their meaning was very simple. They wanted to wait for the most official order from above. In other words, it was Lei Zhengke's order. There was no need to guess. It was obvious that this was the order of Lei Zheng Lord. Perhaps, the other party knew why the world's strongest Lei Zhengke hadn't appeared yet. After all, when Zichen was making a ruckus, Lei Zheng went to find Lei Zhengke. It was unknown if he wanted the Lord to uphold justice. The city lord was helpless and could only recruit the other families to participate in the battle. However, some of the forces that were on good terms with the Lei Zheng family began to act perfunctorily. During this period, there were arguments, but it wasn't very effective. Everyone who had originally decided to send out troops also changed their stance. The meeting was dismissed just like that. The city lord leaned back in his chair, his eyes filled with fatigue. The commander of the core city sat below. His expression didn't look too good either. This Lei Zheng family, it's fine if they usually act alone. But now, how can they not see the situation clearly? The other clans are already going all out. Why is there a problem on our side? The commander said in a deep voice, "We used to be the sacred clan that everyone respected. But now, we have all become a laughing stock." The city lord sighed. "This has a lot to do with my inaction as the city lord." The commander looked at the city lord. He wanted to say something but stopped. "Let's wait and see. Now, we can only take one step at a time. Perhaps in these few days, the Lord will have a new order." The city lord said in the end. It was just an excuse. Even he didn't have much hope. The head of the Lei Zheng family returned to the family. He was in a good mood and hummed a tune all the way back. "So what if you are the city lord of the core city? You are nothing in front of me." When he returned to the family, housekeeper Wu was already waiting there. The head of the Lei Zheng family said, "Pass down the order. The war is about to start and resources are scarce. From now on, all weapons and battle resources will be doubled." "Yes." Housekeeper Wu nodded and went to arrange it. Chapter 4775. Every core member had their own unique talents, and it could even be said that every one of them had the ability to lead. After Lei Wuxing and the others came out, they were all leaders of their own groups. When they came to the periphery, they directly took over the teams outside. Every city, every planet, and every starfield had their own military forces. These forces would be gathered at the time of battle. Lei Wuxing came to a starfield called Yide. The master of this starfield was a 3-star Holy Spirit. This was already the outermost starfield, and it would be the main target of the demon race's attack. As a member of the Sacred Thunder Tribe's outer domain, it was obviously impossible for Yide to defend his star domain without the help of others. But it was even more impossible for him to just run away. Not to mention that he could not afford to be blamed by the Holy Thunder Clan afterwards. This was his own world, and he had worked hard for many years to achieve this scale. How could he be willing to just leave like this? Just as ID was in a dilemma, Lei Wuxing came here. ID did not know the other party's identity, and thought that he was just a big shot from inside, so he was very respectful. Lei Wuxing was a man of few words, and after arriving here, he said, "Gather all the troops and prepare to fight the demon race." "Sir, don't you want to ask about the current situation of the demon race?" ID asked cautiously. "No need, we will know when we get to the battlefield." Lei Wuxing waved his hand, and then personally urged ID to gather all the troops. Although the big shot had come, its mood did not improve. Instead, he was worried. Obviously, this big shot was just here to go through the motions, and when his people were done fighting, the big shot would go back. After painstakingly managing the world for so many years, in the end, it had fallen to such a state. Its heart was filled with sorrow. At the same time, he secretly regretted that he was really blind back then to have spent so much effort to join such a clan. And this guy had been following him all this time, not leaving his side at all. Obviously, he was worried that ID was hiding something. When ID was gathering the troops, a team of 100 people walked out of the core area and came to a place they had almost never set foot in. When Yide saw that team, he felt even more despair. After this defeat, not to mention the few remaining people, perhaps even he himself would die here. But to Aid's surprise, when the army gathered 300,000 soldiers for the first time, this unknown lord personally led the 300,000 soldiers away. He was slightly taken aback. He didn't need to go to the battlefield himself. Lei Wuxing seemed to have guessed his thoughts and said, "You stay here and continue to gather the troops. Bring more people and follow up." The reason why they left so quickly was because the demons had already reached the outskirts of the star field. They had to go out and stop them. After Lei Wuxing led his army to the outskirts of the star domain, he saw the army of devil race standing in the void ahead. There were about 50,000 of them. As for Id's star sector, if all the warriors were to be gathered, there would be around 5 million of them. It was clear that the demon race wanted to use 50,000 people to destroy an army of 5 million. It seemed inconceivable, but they had done it, and more than once. Their leader was a 5-star demon, and he was currently hooting. The so-called hooting was the demon race's plan to persuade them with emotion and reason. Lei Wuxing didn't go out to fight. He glanced behind him and saw a person immediately fly out. They were both 5-star holy spirits, and their realms were about the same. The two of them first clashed head-on. In the end, Lei Wuxing's subordinate paid the price of being seriously injured and killed the other party's leader. The demon race's morale was dampened. Then, another demon flew out from behind. This time, it was a 7-star holy spirit. In Lei Wuxing's army, there were also existences of this level. The two sides fought again, and Lei Wuxing's side won a complete victory. After 2 defeats, the demon race's morale fell again. An 8-star demon came, and he was defeated again. The last 9-star demon to appear was beheaded by Lei Wuxing. Then, the 300,000-strong army charged forward, and the 50,000 demonic army, whose morale had dropped to the lowest point, suffered heavy losses. By the time Yi De braced himself and arrived with the second batch of troops, the battle was already over. Yi De was stunned when he heard the cheers, and he found it hard to believe. This lord could actually kill a 9-star demon with a single strike. Could he be a powerful core disciple of the Holy Thunder clan? However, when he asked others and learned of Lei Wuxing's true identity, Yi De was shocked. Then, Yi De's eyes became wet. The Holy Thunder clan had sent a core disciple. The Holy Thunder clan hadn't forgotten about them. Asterisk 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 of the 50,000 demon race troops, only a few hundred returned alive. Apart from the battle with Zi Chen, Mo Yida's side had suffered a crushing defeat. Under normal circumstances, a demon race army could annihilate an enemy several times their size. When Mo Yida heard the news, he wasn't too surprised. The other great clans had already done so. Thus, he began to send out true experts. At the same time, he sent a message to Mo Zhengtian, saying that the real battle was coming. When Mo Zhengtian heard the news, he rushed over with a group of experts. These experts were comparable to the core disciples of the Holy Thunder clan. Some were even core disciples. A real battle was about to begin. Asterisk 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 asterisk. While the flames of war engulfed the entire Saint Spirit world, Zi Chen's Qianwu continent was still in a period of peace. All the demons who participated in the battle would deliberately avoid the Qianwu world after leaving the Qianwu continent. It had to be said that in this chaotic era, Zi Chen's Qianwu world was a godlike existence. Although he didn't participate in the battle, Zi Chen would read the battle reports from the outside world every day. When he found out that Lei Wuxing and the other core disciples were going to battle, he nodded knowingly. There were still many hot-blooded people in the Holy Thunder clan. He understood the identity of the core disciples. In fact, Zi Chen used to be one of them. Thus, he knew very well what it meant for the core disciples to come out without any orders. But very quickly, the smile on Zi Chen's face disappeared. That was because there was another piece of information. As the battle continued, the prices of the Holy Thunder clan's various resources soared. Among them, the Lei Zheng family's prices had increased by several times. For example, some important healing pills had increased by 10 times. These people are really beast. Zi Chen put down the information and sighed. But he really couldn't understand why the current Holy Thunder clan was like this. What would the future hold? Time passed day by day. Zichen continued to read the information and decipher its contents. As the core disciples had moved to the periphery, there were absolute experts overseeing them. Thus, the demons' advance was finally stopped. But the good times didn't last long. The demons also sent experts to support them, and they were even comparable to the core disciples. In a situation where there were no other elite teams to support them, the core disciples gradually lost and began to retreat. When they retreated, their hearts began to waver. Other than the lack of strength, it was more because the support from the rear wasn't in place. Many of the healing pills were so expensive that they couldn't afford them. They could only bear the injuries and couldn't recover quickly. This naturally affected the following battle. Thus, the troops retreated again and again, and the reinforcements didn't arrive. Yida's star domain was still holding on bitterly, but it was obvious that it couldn't hold on much longer. On this day, Lei Wusheng was suddenly besieged by several demons elites. After the battle, Lei Wusheng died. Lei Wushuang was injured and unconscious. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Chapter 4776. A beautiful woman was lying there quietly, as if she had fallen asleep. Hideous cracks had appeared on her tight soft armor, and blood was constantly flowing out from the cracks. The surrounding atmosphere was very depressing and sorrowful. A young man was kneeling there, gently shaking the woman's body and calling out her name. Yida stood in the distance, and he was in a very bad mood. It was not easy for the Holy Thunder Clan to have a great lord who was willing to give them a chance, but who would have thought that, behind him, many people who had just retreated from the battlefield were also filled with grief and indignation. Other than anger, there was more anger. Their lord was defeated not because he was not strong enough, but because reinforcements had not arrived, so the enemy took advantage of the loophole. Unfortunately, their lord died in battle, and his corpse was taken away by the enemy. A ray of light suddenly appeared, followed by an oppressive aura. Everyone felt as if a stone was pressing on their hearts, and even breathing became difficult. My lord, I'm late. The young man raised his head and looked at the person who had arrived, but he could not help but cry. The dignified core of the clan was crying like a child. Zichen stepped forward and gently patted little Lei's head, then he squatted down and looked at the unconscious Lei Wushuang. Lei Wushuang's injuries were very serious, and his aura could dissipate at any time. Fortunately, his vitality had not completely disappeared. Don't cry, there's still hope. Zichen's voice was very calm, but everyone could feel the suppressed anger under this calmness. Zichen took out a pill and put it into Lei Wushuang's mouth. This was the pill that the old senior gave to Zichen when he returned from the demon realm. As long as Lei Wushuang still had a breath, he would not die. My lord, I'm late. Brother Lei Wusheng's corpse was taken away. Little Lei was crying sadly. Zichen looked back at little Lei. It's not you who's late, it's me who's late. Zichen stood up. Take good care of her, I'll be back soon. In the next moment, Zichen's figure disappeared. Only after Zichen disappeared did everyone feel the pressure in their hearts dissipate. Only then could they catch their breaths. At this moment, everyone deeply felt Zichen's strength. No wonder my lord is willing to come out and fight. It turns out that he is Lord Zichen's friend. Only someone like Lord Zichen would care about the Holy Thunder Clan. After knowing the truth, Ed's heart was filled with deep sorrow. Asterisk 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 asterisk. What extreme core? Aren't you still going to die in front of me? A 9-star demon was dragging the dead Lei Wusheng by the head as he walked through the city. Along the way, there were quite a few spirit race individuals who saw this scene with complicated expressions. This demon called Mo Lun Ya shouted at the surrounding astrals, "What are you looking at? Haven't you seen the core of the Holy Thunder Clan? Did you see that? Mo Lun Ya, killed the core pinnacle experts as easily as killing a chicken." Mo Lun Ya laughed maniacally. The spirit race beings did not dare to say anything. As Mo Lun Ya moved forward, they retreated to the sides. However, they understood the other party's words as their eyes were filled with shock. Even the strongest core pinnacle experts of the Holy Thunder Clan couldn't defeat the demon race? Let's head back and report back. Killing a core pinnacle expert is a great merit. Let's not cause any more trouble. A demon at the side said. What's there to be afraid of? Unless there's anyone else who would dare to come looking for trouble. Let me tell you, it's only because that bitch ran fast. Otherwise, I would have killed 2 of them today. Suddenly, Mo Lun Ye's laughter came to a stop. In the skies, a formidable aura appeared. Following that, a figure descended from the skies. Watch out! The moment the demon race beings saw this, they dodged to the sides. The moment that figure landed on the ground, the entire world trembled. A boundless killing intent surged out and filled every single corner. Today, all of you shall die. The moment he landed, Zi Chen's gaze was cold as he fixed his gaze on Mo Lun Ye. Zi Chen. When Mo Lun Ye caught sight of Zi Chen, his face changed. He had not expected this guy to come. Naturally, he knew who Zi Chen was. They had met back in the alternate world. However, at that time, Zi Chen was a dazzling powerful being. On the other hand, he was just a random passerby. Facing Zi Chen's cold gaze, Mo Lun Ye instinctively tossed away Lei Wusheng's corpse. Die. Zi Chen's eyes flashed with killing intent as he disappeared from where he was. In the next moment, he appeared before Mo Lun Ye. Along with a huge shockwave, Mo Lun Ye was sent flying. Zi Chen brought Lei Wusheng's corpse back to where he was. Landing on the ground, Mo Lun Ye coughed out a mouthful of blood. He was extremely shocked and scared. If he had not tossed away that guy's corpse in time, causing Zi Chen to change directions, that strike might have been fatal. Thankfully, his reaction was fast enough. Zi Chen had come here for that corpse. The other experts of the demon clan had already spread out and stared at Zi Chen with caution. One of them shouted, Zi Chen, instead of staying in the Holy Thunder clan, you dare to come here and cause trouble? Don't blame us for being impolite. Don't try to provoke me. None of you can escape today. Zi Chen's voice was still cold. Is that so? That person was not afraid. He just smiled faintly. I hope you really have the strength. Suddenly, the surroundings lit up. Following that, one figure after another appeared. These were all demon race experts. Moreover, each of them was a 9-star demon race expert. The moment they appeared, a powerful aura surged around them. Zi Chen was surrounded. I thought there would be other core extreme demon race experts secretly following us. I didn't expect to fish you out. This is actually pretty good. That 9-star demon race expert smiled. Following that, his aura changed. He had actually become a half-step Holy Venerable. At the same time, several other half-step Holy Venerables appeared in other directions. They were rapidly approaching. Mo Lun Ye, who was injured earlier, had a stunned expression. Clearly, he did not know that this was a trap. That half-step Holy Venerable said regretfully, what a pity. According to our plan, we should be able to kill at least a few core extreme demon race experts. I didn't expect that only one would come. However, it's hard to say whether this guy's popularity is too bad or too good. After all, one of you is enough to deal with many core extreme demon race experts. Zi Chen looked around. There were dozens of 9-star holy spirits and several half-step holy venerables. He was quite satisfied with such a lineup. Zi Chen, if you apologize now, we can let you live. Suddenly, that half-step holy venerate with surging killing intent changed his tone for some reason. Zi Chen looked at the other party. What did you say? I said, if you apologize now, I'm willing to pretend that nothing happened and let you leave. What do you think? The half-step holy venerable said again. One could see the unwillingness in his eyes. Don't even think about it. Zi Chen suddenly became angry. Even if the sky collapses, don't even think about leaving today. The half-step holy venerable was stunned. He thought that he had misheard. You didn't mishear. You want me to leave like this? Don't even think about it. I want all of you to accompany my brother in death. Even if a holy venerable appears, he won't be able to save you. Zi Chen immediately waved his hand, and Zi Chen Palace appeared in the sky. The palace shone brightly, enveloping the surroundings and forming a protective light. This protective light surrounded all the half-step holy venerables and 9-star demons. "None of you will live." Zichen's cold voice rang out. Boundless light shone around him. Outside the Guardian Tower, everyone watched in shock as Zichen slaughtered a group of powerful demons in a manner that was close to annihilation. Chapter 4777. Look, this is why I didn't let you join in the fun. At the end of the city, Mo Yizhen stood in the air and looked at the two beside him. Actually, there were 3 people beside him, including Mo Yiyang. After coming to the demon race, other than entering the strange world with Mo Yizhen, she spent the rest of her time cultivating and wouldn't disturb Mo Yizhen. It was rare for the two of them to be together like this. Mo Di and Mo Yang Dan's faces were pale, and their bodies were trembling. Too strong. Zichen was too strong. So many people had died just like that. There are so many core extreme demons. Which one can't we deal with? Why does it have to be Lei Wusheng? Mo Yizhen shook his head. Look, the losses are huge, right? He had warned the big shots behind him to be careful when setting up a trap. This place was different from other places. There was a unique Zichen here, but no one listened to him. The big shots who came all had their eyes on the top of their heads, and only had contribution in their eyes. Mo Yiyang looked at that murderous existence, still not daring to connect him with the Zichen she met back then. She didn't come here to watch the show, but to verify Mo Yizhen's guess. Without a doubt, he guessed right again. The demon race had suffered heavy losses, even if there were demon saint venerables secretly overseeing, ensuring that nothing would go wrong. At this moment, 2 demon saint venerables were outside Zichen's palace, watching as the demon race experts were killed one by Zichen. The 2 of them were attacking, but they couldn't break through the defenses of Zichen's palace. In the end, Mo Yizhen sighed. Fortunately, these people didn't act rashly and set the encirclement in the middle of the demon race army. Mo Yizhen turned and left. At this moment, the battle was over. After killing all the demons, it wasn't difficult for Zichen to leave. The 3 of them followed. Mo Yang Danzue and Mo Di had nothing to say. As for Mo Zhengtian, he didn't even show his face this time. The door opened, and Lei Wusheng walked out of the room. Standing outside, he looked back at the residence he had stayed in for many years, or rather, his former home. This was a core city. These individual buildings were the core of the Holy Thunder clan, but today, he was going to leave. After losing his most powerful physical body, this place no longer belonged to him. After leaving this place and returning to the core city, the battle outside continued, but this place was still bustling with activity. However, with the arrival of Lei Wusheng, the lively crowd stopped and everyone turned to look at him. His aura was very weak, which did not match his current identity. Lei Wusheng did not greet the crowd. He walked straight towards the teleportation array. His back looked a little lonely. The disciples of the Holy Thunder clan looked at him with complicated expressions. The core members enjoyed the most and best resources of the Holy Thunder clan, and were also the most precious existences of the Holy Thunder clan. However, if she were to fall now, she would be like a phoenix that had fallen to the ground. After all, there were no orders from above. They had all volunteered to fight, so there would be no compensation if they died. The commander and the city lord appeared in the distance. Both of them looked at Lei Wusheng's back with solemn expressions. The commander said in a deep voice, "We can't let this go on. If we don't think of a solution, more core members will die. Once the Lord comes out of seclusion and finds out that so many core members have died, it will be difficult to explain." The city lord shook his head. With holy sage Lei Zheng deliberately making things difficult, and the other holy sages not saying anything, he really had no other choice this time. At the entrance of the teleportation array, there was a group of dozens of people standing respectfully on both sides. After Lei Wusheng appeared, these existences with weak auras immediately cupped their fists and bowed to Lei Wusheng, calling him Lord. These people were the existences who had followed him into battle and died in battle. They were the team that Lei Wusheng had led previously. "If you call me Lord again, you won't be able to come back in the future." Lei Wusheng looked at everyone and smiled bitterly. Everyone's expression was firm, and they called him Lord again. All right, without so many identities, we will fight to our heart's content. This is our place of survival, our home. Why should we give it to the demon race? Lei Wusheng laughed boldly. Come, follow me to the battlefield. Even if you are just a small soldier on the battlefield, you will not allow the demon race to take half a step into our territory. The dignified corps members were actually going to the front line to be small soldiers. As they were teleported out, Lei Wusheng paid the teleportation fee for everyone. Without the identity of a corps member, everything had to be done according to the rules. When they arrived at the previous battlefield, they saw Zichen returning. At the same time, Lei Wusheng also saw himself as the strongest. Lei Wusheng smiled and said, I didn't expect you to come. Zichen came closer. Why did you come out? Lei Wusheng pointed to the people behind him. The demon race hasn't retreated, how can we leave? So we decided to come to the front line to be small soldiers. I just don't know if Lord Yida will take a liking to us. Yida was the master of this world. If it wasn't for Lei Wusheng's arrival, his world would have already fallen. Right now, looking at the high and mighty Lord, who had become like this, Yida, the master of this world, had tears in his eyes again. How are you going to fight like this? Lei Wusheng walked forward with a pale face. Zichen's pill was very magical. Her life was hanging by a thread before, but now she could move. I waited at the door for a while, but I didn't see you come out. Actually, I was quite relieved. Lei Wusheng smiled. Lei Wusheng was fine. This should be the biggest comfort for him. Zichen looked at Lei Wusheng. What are your plans next? Lei Wusheng said seriously, I said before, I will be a small soldier and do my best for the Holy Thunder Clan. Are you serious? Zichen asked again. That's right. Lei Wusheng nodded. Zichen returned the corpse to Lei Wusheng, but his soul power could no longer enter it. However, this body could be refined into a resource or a human-shaped soldier again. Zichen didn't know what to say for a moment. At this moment, 2 more people appeared. Only the 4 core city leaders present knew these 2 people. Zichen frowned slightly. He didn't know why these 2 big shots would come to such a remote place. Zichen had a good impression of the core city leaders because he had fought side by side with them in the Lost World. As for the city lord, who only knew how to kick the ball and was always thinking for him, Zichen didn't have a good impression of him at all. Zichen, are you willing to return to the Holy Thunder Clan? This was the city lord's first sentence. No. Zichen's response was very decisive. Chapter 4778. Zichen looked at the city lord of the core city. The Holy Thunder Clan's current situation was directly related to Lei Zhengke's inaction, but the city lord couldn't escape the responsibility. The city lord nodded and looked at Zichen with a smile, indicating that he wasn't joking. The commander looked at Zichen expectantly, hoping that Zichen would agree. The others were stunned for a moment, then reacted and saluted the city lord of the core city. This was definitely a big shot of the Holy Thunder Clan. For some reason, I can't do anything about the Holy Thunder Clan's current situation, so I can only hire you. The city lord of the core city waved his hand and motioned for the others to stand up. He continued, after you return, you will be directly under my command. Other than me, no one can control you, and you will have the same authority as me. Everyone stood up and looked at Zichen. This should be the scene that the world wanted to see the most. Compared to the Holy Thunder Clan, they were more willing to believe in Zichen. Lei Wusheng also looked at Zichen expectantly. He didn't expect this situation, but it was also what he hoped for. Lei Wusheng, who was beside him, was deep in thought. Perhaps, they had been waiting for this day all along, and just needed a catalyst. All right. Zichen agreed without hesitation. In fact, he could refuse, but if he refused, the Holy Thunder Clan would probably have no future. Countless people would lose their lives because of his anger. If his appearance could make the Holy Thunder Clan's situation better, and allow more people to survive in this war, Zichen was willing. Zichen stretched out his hand. The city lord was already prepared. He took out a token and threw it over. However, it wasn't the deputy city lord token, but the real city lord token, which belonged to the city lord himself. This was the greatest sincerity that the city lord could show. Zichen held the token and raised it high. "Come, listen to my orders." Immediately, some people appeared from the darkness. Those were the people who had followed the city lord here. They were also in charge of the city lord's safety, even if the city lord did not need to be protected. "Inform all the core families of the Holy Thunder clan to come here immediately for a meeting." Zichen immediately issued his first order after taking power. Yes. Those existences that appeared disappeared one after another. Zichen then turned around to look at everyone. Everyone, including Aide, knelt down and excitedly called out Sir. Xiao Lei and Unparalleled Thunder, as the core of the group, cupped their fists and saluted Zichen. Lei Wuxing and the people he brought with him also knelt on one knee. Now that they had lost their strongest physical bodies, they no longer had the status they had in the past. "Lei Wuxing, listen up." Zichen looked at Lei Wuxing and said, "Quickly go to the Tianwu continent and inform Luo Chishui to bring the elites here to meet with me." "Understood." Lei Wuxing stood up and said loudly. At this moment, he was far more excited than the others. Zichen turned to look at Xiao Lei. Xiao Lei immediately said, "Sir, please give your orders." Zichen said bluntly, "Go and call all the core members who are willing to participate here. I need to trouble them with something." "Understood. This little one will go now." A light array appeared under Xiao Lei's feet. In the next moment, he disappeared into the light array. Zichen finally looked at the others and said, "Everyone, get up. Go back and rest up. Prepare for the next battle." "What about me?" Unparalleled Thunder did not wait for Zichen's third order, so she took the initiative to ask. "Recover your strength first. When you attack, don't be merciful." Zichen's voice became heavier. "Remember, don't be merciful." "Understood." Unparalleled Thunder clenched her teeth. She naturally would not be merciful when dealing with demons. The city lord turned and left. The commander followed beside him to send him off. Zichen's orders had already been issued. Even a commander like him had to obey, so he could not leave. What if Zichen wants to use those core members? Wouldn't that be overkill? The commander asked worriedly. The city lord shook his head and said, "I don't care. I've already said that everything will be arranged by Zichen. I won't interfere." The city lord's eyes suddenly became firm. "If something really happens, I'll take the blame with my life. This is the only contribution this incompetent city lord can make to the Holy Thunder clan. But if I'm no longer here, remember to take care of my family." The city lord entered the teleportation array and returned. From now on, he was a core city lord with an empty position and no power. Orders were quickly passed down to the core families. Everyone was stunned when they heard the news. The meeting this time was actually in the outer region. After further inquiries, they found out that Zichen had been appointed as the vice city lord. Many people's expressions became strange. Of course, there were some people who were more excited, but there were also many who scoffed. "Zichen, he's just an idiot. Even the city lord can't order us around, let alone him. Don't bother, let's see what he can do." Among them, the one who reacted the least was the Lei Zheng family. Both sides had already shed all pretense of cordiality, so there was nothing to hide. If the Lei Zheng family didn't go, then those who were on good terms with the Lei Zheng family naturally wouldn't go either. On the contrary, the families who were on good terms with Zichen were very active in going. When everyone arrived, Zichen looked at the number of people and then asked Grace from the core city to count. He found that less than 40% of the people had come. It could be seen that the current Lei Zheng family was like the sun in the sky. Moreover, among the less than 40% of the families, some were neutral, and some were on Lei Zheng's side. Zichen didn't care about this. Looking at the people present, he smiled faintly and said, "I didn't come here to ask the family heads to bring people to risk their lives. In fact, I don't need you to send extra people." Under the surprised gazes of the people, Zichen said, "The content of today's meeting is very simple. Each of your families has to take out a sum of resources. It can be pills, weapons, armor, or something like that. At the same time, I can also guarantee that after killing the demons, the corpses will be given to you first. However, they won't be provided for free. You will need to buy them at a reasonable price. Zichen waved his hand and said, "Okay, the family heads can leave. As for the proportion of the first batch of resources, I will let the Thunder Protector calculate it and inform you." This wasn't a discussion, but a notice, so Zichen didn't give the others a chance to speak. "Sir, this isn't appropriate. This time, only 40% of the families came. If only we take the resources and the other families don't, it won't make sense, right?" A family head stood up and said with dissatisfaction. Zichen smiled and said, "I have considered this problem. You all just need to carry it out. As for the 60% of families, I will give you an explanation soon." Chapter 4779. As soon as he said this, the family heads who were about to leave stopped. Trouble had come before they could carry out their plan. Moreover, the other party's words were obviously meant to hurt them. As for his intention, it couldn't be more obvious. Zichen wasn't angry, and the smile on his face didn't fade. "If you don't trust me, then don't use my method. You can be like the 60% of families and pretend that you didn't come here, and you don't have to pay the resources." The head said loudly, "How can that be? What kind of person do you think I am? We are all members of the Sacred Thunder Tribe. Naturally, we will advance and retreat together. We will face difficulties together. How can I watch as you, an exiled person, come back and harm my family?" The expressions of the others changed, and they all had different emotions. Grace's gaze quickly swept across everyone's faces, trying to find some clues. Some were gloating, while others were worried for Zichen. Zichen didn't answer the question immediately. Instead, he looked at everyone and asked, "What do you think?" Everyone was silent and didn't express their opinions. Zichen looked at the head of the family again. "Do you know who I am?" The head of the family said sarcastically, "Who doesn't know? You are Zichen, an existence exiled by the Holy Thunder Clan." Zichen said again, "Then do you know that the Leizheng family and I are enemies and can't coexist?" The head of the family snorted and said, "What does it have to do with me? Now, I am fighting for the interests of the entire Holy Thunder Clan. What does it have to do with the Leizheng family?" Zichen said, "Because my attitude towards the Leizheng family is that as long as it's related to the Leizheng family, even if it's just a little bit, I'd rather kill by mistake than let go. So, I don't even bother to know who you are and which family you are from, because I don't care about the dead." "You!" The head of the family's expression changed, and he scolded angrily, "You dare to..." Before the head of the family could finish speaking, a light flew out from Zichen and landed on the head of the family. A head fell to the ground. The others subconsciously retreated as cries of surprise rang out. Everyone looked at Zichen in shock. No one had thought that Zichen would actually dare to kill someone at this time. Killing someone in a meeting was something that had never happened before in history. "I'm sorry, but special times call for special measures. I wonder if anyone has any opinions?" Zichen looked at everyone with a gentle smile on his face. "Everyone, don't worry. I won't purposely treat those who speak up for justice as people who are colluding with the Leizheng family and kill them all. As for this reckless one, it's because he's too obvious. He doesn't even know how to disguise himself." The threat in this sentence was very obvious. Everyone looked at each other in dismay. Those who originally wanted to say a few more words tactfully shut their mouths. After all, Zichen's attitude was already very clear. As long as he conveyed this message, it would be fine. There was no need to risk his life, right? The meeting was adjourned, and the leaders of the clans all left. The people from the Sacred Rune Palace didn't leave. The people from the Thunder Protector Agency were also present, as were several other departments in the core city. Zichen looked at Grace. "Help me gather a group of core disciples. It's best if they know their roots and have nothing to do with the Leizheng family." Grace was very accurate in this aspect, so it was easy to arrange. She asked, "Can you do it within 3 days?" "Yes." Zichen nodded. Then, Zichen mentioned a few other small things. The gist of it was that he wanted some capable people to come out and help. Then, the meeting came to an end. After these people left, Chen gathered the leaders of the outer region for a meeting. There were many of these leaders, and they didn't dare to disobey Chen's orders. So, everyone was present. Unlike the core area, in the outer region, the rulers of each star domain were the leaders. At least, they had the final say in some matters. Yida provided a larger meeting place for everyone. Everyone who arrived was seated according to the registration. Some couldn't sit down, so they stood at the back and listened. After Chen arrived, everyone stood up. For many of the leaders, this was the first time they saw the famous Chen at such a close distance. Chen waved his hand and motioned for everyone to sit down. He said directly, "I've called everyone here. It's not a big deal. There are a few small things that I need you to do. In 3 days, inform the star domains under your rule in my name that 8-star and 9-star saint spirits can only stay in their respective residences and are not allowed to move around freely. If you can't do it, then it's fine. Just remember who's doing it. When it's over, give me the list. I'll deal with it later." Everyone nodded. No one dared to disobey, even if they didn't know why Chen was doing this. Chen continued, "Second, now that the war is urgent, I need to know the situation of the shops in every city in the outer region. I need to know if there are enough resources. When you go back, mark all the shops and send them to me. This must be done within 3 days. Of course, the sooner the better. Lastly, I want to tell everyone that since I'm involved, I'll do my best in the next battle. No matter the outcome, I'll do my best." Chen said, "So, I hope everyone can do their best to cooperate." Everyone stood up again and saluted Chen with their fists clasped. They shouted that they would do their best to cooperate. After the meeting was over, Little Lei called the extreme core experts over. There were actually more than 20 of them, which surprised Chen. As for the other core members, it wasn't that they didn't want to fight. Some of them might be in seclusion. After all, above the 9-star saint spirit, there was the saint realm. They had more or less gained something from this trip to the strange world. At the same time, Luo Chishure also received the order to come here. After learning the identity of Ray and the others, he was very surprised. He never thought that one day he would be able to stand together with the core members of the Holy Thunder Clan, and with so many of them. Chen introduced Luo Chishure to everyone, then patted him on the shoulder and said, "The time for revenge has come. Get ready." Then, Chen had the core members and the core disciples from the inner city disperse to the various star zones in advance and wait for the new order. The people on the periphery were more efficient. They quickly got the list. After receiving the list of shops on the periphery, Chen issued a new order. He asked the rulers of the star zones to prepare some real experts to patrol the various cities to see if there were any abnormalities. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. An order about the 8-star and 9-star saint spirits not being allowed to move was passed down. Everyone was very confused, but they had to carry out the order. In fact, even the rulers of the star zones didn't understand what was going on. But soon, they received a new order. They were to immediately send the experts who were patrolling the city to the shop where the Leijing family was and forcibly seal the shop. Anyone who tried to resist would be killed without mercy. Seeing this order, all the rulers of the star zones were stunned. They couldn't believe it. But as the order was passed down again, they all started to act. In a very short time, all the shops of the Leijing family in the Holy Thunder Clan star zones were forcibly destroyed. All the resources were seized. Chapter 4780. In an instant, a huge earthquake occurred in the outer region. Before anyone could react, the shops and workshops controlled by the Leijing family were locked down. They were caught off guard. When the crowd saw this scene, it was already over. All the shops and workshops were under martial law. The crowd clapped their hands and cheered. As the war continued, the prices of all kinds of goods in these shops had increased several times. The news quickly spread to the core city. The Leijing family was furious when they heard the news. They immediately sent out many experts to help. The teleportation array lit up, and a powerful aura appeared. It was a 9-star holy spirit who didn't suppress his aura. The original guards immediately came forward and surrounded the teleportation array. The 9-star Holy Spirit appeared and looked around coldly. "Get out of my way. Lord Zichen has ordered that no 8-star Holy Spirits or above are allowed to move around the outer region." The guard looked at the 9-star Holy Spirit and said, "Please go back, Lord. Get out of my way, or die." The Holy Spirit's eyes were full of killing intent. He represented the Lei Zhang family. What happened in the outer region was a slap to the Lei Zhang family's face. The powerful aura suffocated the guard. He gritted his teeth and said, "Lord Zichen has said that whoever dares to disobey will be killed without mercy. You're courting death." The Holy Spirit waved his hand, and the 6-star Holy Spirit guard was sent flying. He landed in the distance and coughed up blood. He wasn't a real guard. He was a core disciple from the inner city. "How dare you disobey? You deserve to die." A cold voice sounded. Luo Chishire walked over from afar. His eyes were extremely cold. He drew his sword as he approached. He had refined this sword many times, and the quality of its material was getting better and better. It was because of this sword that he was targeted by the Lei Zheng family. He lived a life of disdain. If he hadn't met Lord Zichen, he would have been finished. The sword he used today contained many years of hatred, so it was exceptionally powerful. This was his best sword. The sword light pierced through the 9-star Holy Spirit's body. His powerful aura dissipated instantly, and he fell straight to the ground. He was dead. Luo Chishire sheathed his sword and said indifferently, "Guard this place well. If anyone dares to disobey the order, kill without mercy." Outside the other passageways, core members like unparalleled Lei were standing guard. After attacking, Lei Wushuang finally understood what Zichen meant when he told her not to hold back. It wasn't that they shouldn't hold back when they were killing the demons, but when it came to the members of the Lei Zheng family who had come to the periphery. Zichen had expected this. In other words, this was Zichen's arrangement. It was like a huge net, waiting for the Lei Zheng family to fall into it. This time, not only did the Lei Zheng family lose their shops in the periphery, but the powerful warriors who tried to change the situation were also killed after trying to force their way in. This loss was much greater than the previous time when Zichen caused a ruckus in those shops. The news immediately spread to the core area, causing those families to be shocked. Last time, Zichen killed people to establish his power. Everyone guessed that this time, Zichen would do it again. However, they didn't expect that he would do it to the Lei Zheng family, who was the strongest. This time, let's not talk about the result of establishing their prestige first. In short, it was a painful blow to the Lei Zheng family. When the head of the Jila family heard the news, he was overjoyed. In recent years, they had been suppressed by the Lei Zheng family because of their good relationship with Zichen. Now that they saw the Lei Zheng family's huge loss, they were naturally in a good mood. He specially took out a bottle of good wine that he had kept for many years and cooked a few dishes to go with the wine. The other families who had been suppressed for a long time were also in a good mood today. They breathed out a sigh of relief, so much so that the treasures in their houses were reduced. To resist foreign aggression, we must first settle our internal affairs. This is a strong medicine. I don't know if it's effective, but it's very effective. The mayor put down the book in his hand and smiled. Looking at the entire Holy Thunder clan, only Zichen can do such a thing. The Lei Zheng family is indeed a tumor that hinders us. Zichen has found the right place this time. The commander said, but what if Lord Lei Zheng takes action personally? The mayor laughed heartily. What are you afraid of? Lord Lei Zheng is very good to Zichen. The two spiritual ancestors and Zichen also have a good relationship with him. The Lord of the Sacred Talisman Palace is also the same. This time, even if Lord Lei Zheng takes action, he may not be able to gain the upper hand. At this moment, someone suddenly came in to report that Lord Lei Zheng had left the family in anger and went to the periphery. The mayor asked, what about the other lords? They didn't move. They are still in their own residence. What? The mayor's expression changed. He could no longer remain calm because this was completely different from what he had expected. Why didn't the other lords help Zichen? Asterisk 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 Zi Chen stood in a huge open space. Yi De was standing far away from the open space. Previously, he had followed the order and sealed off all the Lei Zheng family's shops in the Star Sector. As this was one of the main battlefields, the Lei Zheng family had raised the prices many times. Back then, Lord Lei Wusheng had no choice but to use his own resources to subsidize. He did not expect Lord Zi Chen to use such an extreme method. However, he had to admit that it was very satisfying. Looking at those arrogant fellows kneeling in front of him and begging for mercy, he felt very happy. Suddenly, a powerful aura descended. The aura of a lord emerged. A lord had arrived. Yi De's expression changed when he felt the anger in the lord's aura. He guessed who the lord was. Zi Chen, I want you dead. The lord approached and rushed towards Zi Chen. He slammed his palm down. The whole world was shaking. This was because Lord Lei Zheng had restrained his power. Otherwise, the world would have collapsed. Bastard, I'm going to kill you too, you pests of the Holy Thunder Clan. A light shone in front of Zi Chen. The Zi Chen palace blocked the attack. Then, the last lightning seed appeared in front of Zi Chen. It instantly turned into a lightning tree. The lightning tree was almost as tall as the world. Lei Zheng looked extremely small in front of it. Lightning flashed on the lightning tree. It then turned into lightning chains and extended towards Lei Zheng. All the branches of the lightning tree began to whip Lei Zheng. Lei Zheng was furious. He mobilized the Lord's power and destroyed a large number of lightning chains. However, more lightning chains still appeared. Zi Chen looked coldly at Lei Zheng, who was in a sorry state. Bastard, pests like you don't deserve to live in this world. After I kill you, I'll destroy your Lei Zheng clan. Zi Chen's voice resounded throughout the world. Just as Zi Chen was speaking, some crystal balls in the distance lit up, and this scene was reflected in them. Boom! Lei Zheng went completely berserk. His boundless lord's power forcefully destroyed the branches. The lightning tree gradually dimmed because of the huge consumption of energy. Little bastard, after I destroy this tree, I'll kill you. Lei Zheng was furious. In Mengyaro city of Tianwu continent, Han Enyu, who was strolling around, put down the accessories in her hand and looked up at the sky. Her beautiful eyebrows raised. Chung Ho, who was behind her, immediately took a step forward. You old thing, you even dare to touch my brother. You're courting death. Chung Ho punched out. A dazzling fist light appeared from the city and headed straight for the sky. The rules in the sky automatically avoided it and a gap appeared in the world. The fist light flew out of Tianwu world and arrived in Yi De's world. There was a loud boom. Chapter 4781. The tree of lightning in the sky collapsed and the hole in the sky didn't close up for a long time. Lei Zheng stood in the sky and looked at himself in a daze. The world was in silence. Blood rained down from the sky and it was a ghastly sight. Lei Zheng Lord's chest was penetrated by a fist that came from outer space. What kind of punch was that? One had to know that Lei Zheng was a saint venerable. Who could hurt him? Ancient sacred venerate. That term popped into everyone's mind. It seemed like the rumor was true. In Zi Chen's world, there was really an ancient sacred venerate. There was no doubt that Lei Zheng had made his move. Everyone was shocked. However, they soon realized that it was just the beginning. Zi Chen rose into the sky and came before Lei Zheng. Bastard, I've been annoyed with you for a long time. Today, I'll send you on your way. As soon as Lei Zheng finished his words, a bright blade arc appeared in front of everyone. That was the flowing blade from the myriad world. The blade arc was so bright and dazzling that everyone couldn't open their eyes. The second explosion resounded in the sky. Powerful energy surged and shook. Zi Chen's body flew out and landed heavily on the ground. A huge human-shaped pit appeared from the ground. Old bastard, I'll kill you. In the human-shaped pit, Zi Chen's voice was heard again as he rose into the sky. Lei Zheng wasn't seriously injured by Lei Zheng's powerful attack. Blood splattered in the sky as Lei Zheng turned into a stream of light and flew away. Upon closer inspection, Lei Zheng was missing an arm. Lei Zhang had managed to dodge the previous attack in time. However, he had lost an arm because of it. "Old bastard, don't run away if you dare. Come and fight with me. Is the Lei Zhang family too arrogant? Don't you want to make money from the war? Come on. Today, you old bastard, Lei Zhang, ran away with your tail between your legs. Tomorrow, I'll destroy all of Lei Zhang's shops and bring justice to the Holy Thunder clan." Zi Chen shouted into the distance. Lei Zhang's figure flashed a few times and disappeared. He didn't reply to Zi Chen's scolding. Thinking about it, Lei Zhang was probably going to be scared to death in the face of a punch from outer space. After Lei Zhang left, Zi Chen could no longer hold back and directly coughed out a mouthful of blood. His body landed on the ground, and his face gradually turned pale. This old thing has some skills. Everyone was in a state of shock. They never thought that such a shocking scene could appear in this ordinary ID world. Seeing that the Holy Master had escaped, no one dared to step forward. It was not because they were afraid of Zi Chen, but because of the oppressive aura, no one dared to approach him. The blood that fell to the ground did not dissipate. They were like blood-colored pearls that emitted a powerful aura. This was the blood of a saint, a really good thing. However, what was even more horrifying was that arm. It still contained the aura of a holy venerate. This was the key reason why no one could approach it. Zi Chen was not afraid because he himself was a 9-star saint spirit. He could easily deal with that kind of aura. After approaching, he picked up the arm and smiled. "Good weapon." After saying that, Zi Chen waved his hand, and a suction force appeared. The blood-colored pearls from all directions all flew toward Zi Chen. These things might not be useful to Zi Chen, but if given to others, they would definitely be treasures. Every drop of the blood of a saint could be used to strengthen one's physical body. It was rare. In the past, Zi Chen wanted to but did not have the opportunity. Now, he seemed to have seen some kind of hope. After putting away these things, the oppressive aura between heaven and earth disappeared. Zi Chen turned his head to look around and said in a deep voice, "Everyone, listen up. The war has started." Lei Zhang family did not listen to orders and raised the price of resources without permission. From today onwards, all the resources of the shops in the periphery will be confiscated. If anyone disobeys, kill without mercy. Zi Chen's voice spread far and wide. It was sonorous and powerful. Someone had already recorded this scene. Even the previous scene was recorded in pictures. Very soon, these images were spread around. Lei Zhang returned injured, and this brought a great shock to all the families in the core forces. Everyone began to inquire about the news, wanting to know what had happened in the periphery. However, high-level existences were still unable to move freely in the periphery at this moment. They could only send some low-level existences. Zi Chen had no intention of suppressing the news. He wanted them to know anyway. Those people got the crystal ball and saw the cause and effect. They were so shocked that they were speechless. At this moment, he returned to the core city again after so many years. This time, he was going to look for Grace. The highest steward of the Thunder Defense Department, the old man who had single-handedly nurtured Grace, personally received Zi Chen. Back then, the old man had been very optimistic about Zi Chen. Today, seeing Zi Chen's achievements, he was naturally happy from the bottom of his heart. Just as Zi Chen and the old man were talking and laughing, the various families in the inner city were already shocked. In order to show his power, Zi Chen directly attacked the largest family of the Holy Thunder clan, Lei Zhang. In just one day, he destroyed all the shops in the periphery of Lei Zhang. Not only did he destroy them, but he also directly plundered them. At the same time, he killed more than 28 and 9-star holy spirits of the Lei Zhang family. In the end, even holy sage Lei Zhang returned with serious injuries. Especially after seeing Zi Chen cut off Lei Zhang's arm with one slash, they were all even more shocked. Now, the fact that ancient holy sages were overseeing the Tianwu world was completely confirmed. Next, everyone was waiting for a huge fight. Unfortunately, it did not happen. The entire Lei Zhang family suddenly went silent. It was as if nothing had happened, and everything went on as usual. As for the periphery, They were determined not to go and only moved around in the inner city. No one asked for justice, and no one went to the periphery to negotiate with them to get back those resources. After all, many shops and workshops were an astonishing amount of resources and wealth. The other families were a little disappointed that they did not get to see the fight, but they quickly reacted. The first thing they did was to inform those shops to return all the goods to the original price, or even lower. The Lei Zheng family was one, but which family was two? Even Lei Zheng was seriously injured. Which family dared to not listen to Zi Chen's orders and arrangements? Zi Chen was a man of his word. At present, he did not ask the other families to send anyone. He only mobilized a group of core disciples to the periphery to assist in the battle. But soon, Grace distributed the share of resources that each family needed to contribute to this battle. Except for the Lei Zheng family, every family was given a share, including the families that had not gone before. If it were before, of course, they would not pay this amount. They would even stand in front of their own houses and curse for a long time. But with the Lei Zheng family as an example, each and every one of them tactfully paid the resources. With these resources, Zi Chen could be considered rich and overbearing. He gave benefits to those who died in the battle and elixirs to those who were injured. At the same time, he also paid a high price to recruit those outsiders to join the battle. The second battle of the devil race had arrived, but the leader was only a 5-star devil. The other party was shouting outside, and it was still the same old plan that Mo Yi had devised. Seeing this scene, Zi Chen smiled. Obviously, the devil race was preparing for a battle between gentlemen. After all, with Zi Chen here, no one could survive unless a holy sage went out to fight. At the same time, similar situations occurred in other places. Therefore, Zi Chen was at ease as the overall commander, controlling the direction of the resources and the direction of the battle. Chapter 4782. Looking at Yi De, who walked into the room, Zi Chen asked, "Is everything ready?" Yi De nodded and said respectfully, "Everyone has evacuated. I guarantee that no one will be left behind." Zi Chen walked out of the room with Yi De following behind him. Looking at the empty street, Zi Chen felt a little emotional. When he came here 100 years ago, although this place had been affected by the flames of war, it was still very lively. However, after 100 years of fighting, there was no one here, and they would soon withdraw from this place. "Thank you for your help, sir. I am very satisfied." These were Yi De's heartfelt words. If it weren't for Zi Chen here, his world would have been gone long ago. And after 100 years of defending, all the resources in Yi De's world had been withdrawn, and the losses had been completely minimized. Over the past 100 years, the demon race's offensive had rapidly become stronger, and many elites had come. Even Zi Chen suspected that all the elites of the demon race had come here. The reason why they retreated was for better defense, because accurate information came that the divine race, who had broken through the Saint Spirit realm, had also sent troops to the Holy Thunder Clan. Faced with such a situation, Zi Chen had to retreat and try to unify the battle as much as possible. "The others have also retreated?" Zi Chen asked. "Yes, they all went to the Mu Feng star field to prepare for defense. Now only the two of us are left here." Rays of light appeared in the distance. It was the frontline troops of the demon race. They had thought that there was no one in this world, but after coming in, they noticed Zi Chen's existence. These demons were all stunned, then stopped in place and immediately saluted Zi Chen respectfully. No matter where they were, the strong would always be respected. Zi Chen nodded slightly at those demons, but did not make any move to kill them. On the huge battlefield, a few lives were not worth mentioning. The demons stood there and no longer moved forward. Zi Chen planned to turn around and leave. Suddenly, he stopped and turned to look in the direction of the demons. Another group of people appeared, and the one in the lead was an old acquaintance. Liu Zhen. The other party had not appeared for a long time. It was said that the leader's position had been replaced by someone else. After Mo Yi landed, she looked at Zi Chen from afar and said, "You are wasting too much time here. After so many years, you still have not broken through to the holy light stage." Zi Chen smiled and said, "You haven't broken through either. I'm not like you. I'm not important in the demon race, but you're famous. Now that you haven't broken through, the entire spirit race is under great pressure. Do you know how many people are waiting for you to break through and save the world? Then when do you think is the best time for me to break through? It's best if it's now. Then, if I really broke through, you guys would have run away a long time ago. With that, Zichen turned around and left. His expression was still relaxed as he waved his hand without looking back. See you on the battlefield. However, after leaving this world, his expression became solemn. He had only spoken a few words with Mo Yi, but the information within was still very important. At the very least, Xiao Chen knew that the deity race sending reinforcements this time had something to do with whether he broke through or not. The Holy Thunder clan's encirclement retreated a full circle. Their forces compressed once more, preparing for a defensive battle. When the deity race's forces arrived, they took on half of the offensive for the demons. This time, the deity race's strategy changed. They continuously sent out experts, even half-step holy venerates. Furthermore, Zichen could only take care of one area. Hence, the battle situation was very unfavorable for the deity race from the start. Hence, Zichen used his authority as the city lord again to send out the half-step holy venerates of the Holy Thunder clan. Lei Zhengke still did not appear. Hence, when the city lord was not in charge, Zichen had the highest authority. As for the consequences of disobeying Zichen's orders, the Lei Zheng family from 100 years ago was the best example. For 100 years, the Lei Zheng family did not participate in the battle even once. Zichen did not even ask the core disciples of the Lei Zheng family to participate in the battle. However, the Lei family gave all the resources that should have belonged to them to Zichen. There were also the various resources and workshops that the Lei family plundered. Even after 100 years, they still existed. After the half-step holy venerates joined the battle, they only slowed down the retreat of the deity race. They were still retreating, but it was an effective retreat. The deity race and the demon race worked together and orderly nibbled away at the Holy Thunder clan's territory. The battle covered a very large area. However, Zichen's Tianwu continent was still the safest. All the advancing forces took a detour around it. The outer regions started to fall. One astral region after another changed owners. Eventually, all of them changed owners. Only the Ganhai astral region, the Tianwu astral region that Zichen sold, remained. Aside from this astral region, only the Holy Thunder clan's core region remained. The battle was very bitter. Every day, there would be tragic scenes. However, there was nothing they could do. The Holy Thunder clan had retreated time and time again. Now, they could only rely on themselves. Even though Zichen offered a high reward, the results were not good. The Lei Zheng family still did not participate in the battle. They kept their forces. However, the resources of their shops in the core region were requisitioned by Zichen for a second time. Ever since Lei Zheng's arm had been cut off, the Lei Zheng family had become exceptionally quiet. They did not even resist when Zichen deliberately suppressed them. The Lei Zheng family, which had once been unparalleled in the world, seemed to have become exceptionally low-key and humble overnight. After requisitioning the Lei Zheng family's resources, Zichen began to mobilize the main forces of those families to fight against the deity race and the demon race. Another few decades later, the Tianwu astral region fell. When the deity race withdrew, all the transportation formations to the Tianwu continent were forcefully destroyed. The leader, Zichen, was a little worried. In this way, Zichen's Tianwu world was a lonely world. It was not close to anywhere. Not long after, the figures of sacred venerables appeared on the battlefield. The deity race and the demon race seemed to have discussed it. Therefore, Zichen could only let the Holy Thunder clan's sacred venerables take action. However, compared to the number of sacred venerables of the deity race and the demon race, the Holy Thunder clan obviously did not have the advantage. In the continuous battle, the Holy Thunder clan retreated again and again. The core region was gradually conquered. According to the development of this situation, the entire Holy Thunder clan would fall one day. Under such circumstances, everyone was hoping that Lei Zhengke would appear at this time and turn the tide. After all, he was the strongest person in the Holy Thunder clan, and even the entire world. No one knew if Lei Zhengke had heard everyone's call, but he actually came out of seclusion. As the news spread, the entire Holy Thunder clan cheered. Their greatest support had finally arrived. With Lei Zhengke coming out of seclusion, Zichen no longer had the authority to manage everyone. At least, before Lei Zhengke agreed, he did not have any authority. Chapter 4783. When Lei Zhengke came out of seclusion and took over control, the entire Holy Thunder clan was cheering. They finally saw hope. Hope for victory. However, Zichen knew very well that the Holy Thunder clan wanted to fight against the Celestial and Demon clans when they had lost the initiative. It was simply a fool's dream. Not to mention one Lei Zhengke, even 10 of them wouldn't be enough. Defeat was only a matter of time. On the day Lei Zhengke took over the Holy Thunder clan, he announced his first order. He removed Zichen from his position as Deputy City Lord. When he said this, there was an uproar. If it weren't for Zichen, the Holy Thunder clan would have been conquered because of disunity. How could they have held on until now? Now that Zichen was removed from his position, it was obvious that he wanted to leave. After all, Zichen's Tianwu world was outside the Holy Thunder clan. Lei Zhengke soon announced the reason. The Celestial and Demon clans' joint attack wasn't for the Holy Thunder clan, but for Zichen. For many years, Zichen had used the entire Holy Thunder clan to fight for his Tianwu world. When this news came out, it caused an uproar. Almost no one dared to believe that this was true. However, who wouldn't believe Lei Zhengke's words? Lei Zhengke finally gave another order. Next, he would lead the entire Holy Thunder clan into seclusion. When the time came, the truth would naturally be revealed. Fortunately, Lei Zhengke didn't go too far. Before this, he gave the Holy Thunder clan members a choice. Stay or leave. Those who were willing to stay could stay and fight for Zichen. Those who weren't willing to stay would lead the Holy Thunder clan into seclusion. This choice was even more difficult to make. At this time, the Lei Zheng family, who had been quiet for many years, finally jumped out. You bunch of idiots. Zichen used you like guns, and you actually stupidly want to risk your lives for him. Do you know that he's playing with you? He's deliberately sending you to your death. How many members of the Holy Thunder clan have died over the years? But Zichen's Tianwu world is not only unscathed, it's even getting stronger. This time, the Lei Zheng family was still trying their best to smear Zichen's name. Under their deliberate instigation, the morale of the military was already shaken. Zichen no longer had any authority, and he had already left the Holy Thunder clan, so he brought Luo Chishure and the others back. Everyone was in low spirits. They hung their heads dejectedly. After fighting for so many years, they had seen countless tragic scenes. Who would have thought that when it came to Lei Zhengke, he would end up taking a bullet for Zichen? Lei Wusheng was also in this team. Many years ago, he had lost his strongest physical body and was no longer at the pinnacle of the core. However, after refining many resources, he had once again reached the pinnacle of the past. But this time, he didn't return to be a core member. Instead, he stayed by Zichen's side and fought alongside Zichen. The people he had brought with him back then also followed him. They knew what kind of person Zichen was after all these years. Looking at the Tianwu world in front of him, Zichen suddenly stopped. The Lei Zheng family wasn't wrong about one thing. Because there had been no fighting in the Tianwu world for so many years, it had become even more prosperous. But what about the future? Seeing Zichen stop, Lei Wusheng was somewhat puzzled. Are you still planning to go back? Zichen shook his head and said, No, I have to make a trip to the demon race. Why are you going to the demon race? Once the Holy Thunder clan goes into hiding, we will be their only target. The Tianwu world may not be able to be defended, so we have to find a way out for them in advance. After saying that, Zichen turned into a stream of light and flew into the distance. He arrived at the territory occupied by the demon race. Those who recognized Zichen immediately became nervous. I'm looking for Mo Zhengtian. Zichen directly stated his purpose for coming. Sir, please wait a moment. The group of demons cupped their fists and bowed. Someone immediately went back to report. Zichen stood there, and the demon race soldiers looked at Zichen nervously and curiously. Not long after, Mo Zhengtian appeared. Compared to the past, his aura was more vigorous, as if he could take that step at any time. You've been abandoned by the Holy Thunder Clan again. Are you planning to seek refuge with me? Mo Zhengtian approached with a mocking smile. Mo Di and Mo Yang Danzue, who were following behind him, laughed loudly. Mo Yi didn't laugh. He looked at Zichen with pity in his eyes. What a pitiful person. They had long known about Zichen's encounter with the Holy Thunder Clan. Zichen also laughed, then said indifferently, "Do you all think that I can't kill you here?" Their laughter stopped abruptly. Yes, although Zichen had been banished again, his battle strength was still there. Even if they were very close to the Holy Venerate level, they still didn't have the confidence to survive in Zichen's hands. As for the Holy Venerates, they still hadn't appeared until now. Who knew if they would come? Speak, why are you looking for me? Mo Zhengtian said. I don't believe that you're here just for this useless threat. Zichen said, what's coming is bound to be a life and death battle, so I'm here to tell you that a group of unrelated people will leave my world. I hope that you won't make things difficult for them and let them leave safely. Oh, you're thinking of running? What, the Holy Thunder Clan isn't willing to take you away, so you want to use this method to escape? Mo Zhengtian laughed mockingly. That's my world, and also my home. I can't leave. I'm here to tell you that after those innocent people leave, don't do anything. If you understand, just do it. What? You still dare to threaten me at a time like this? Mo Zhengtian's eyes were filled with killing intent. Believe it or not, I'll kill anyone who comes out of your world. Of course I don't believe it. Zichen turned and left. In fact, he was in a very bad mood. Mo Zhengtian was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but he could only watch as Zichen left. After Zichen was far away, Mo Zhengtian asked, what do you think? Mo Yi said with a trembling voice, according to Zichen's character, he definitely won't leave alone. Sir, you can rest assured. Rather than angering Zichen at this time and making him do something that doesn't suit his character, it's better to do as Zichen said and let the others leave. After all, no matter how important the others are, they can't be compared to Zichen. And our ultimate goal is to get rid of Zichen and take complete control of this place. What do you think he can do even if we anger him? Mo Yi asked again with a trembling voice. It's hard to say. If he escapes from here and comes behind us, it won't be good if he attacks us. Or if he runs to a place where there's no one and only comes out after becoming a Holy Venerate. That's even more of a nightmare for us. Thinking of that possibility, Mo Zhengtian's eyes began to twitch. That would be bad. Chapter 4784. Zichen returned to the Tianwu world. After many years of development, the liveliness of this place had reached its peak. Zichen smiled. Such a scene would probably never happen again in his life. He mobilized the rules, and his voice rang out in every corner of the world. Everyone, a large-scale war is about to break out in the Tianwu world. Those who want to leave can leave now. All the noisy cities suddenly became extremely quiet. Everyone looked up at the sky, but they saw nothing. The Celestial and Demon clans are about to attack the Tianwu world. What follows will be an unprecedentedly difficult battle. I have already made an agreement with the Demon clan. Anyone who wants to leave can leave safely from the Demon clan. Zichen's voice rang out again. Don't go to the Holy Thunder clan. Soon, that place will disappear. Regardless of whether you have made an agreement before or not, I will give everyone a chance to choose. However, if you decide to stay, you must go to war. The various cities were still incomparably quiet. The sudden change made them somewhat at a loss for what to do. Spies from other forces, you can also leave. This time, the Tianwu world will be facing the main forces of the Celestial and Demon clans. During this time, the Holy Masters may also start a war. There is no point in you staying here to continue to gather information. The teleportation array can no longer be used. I will open the world and send you away. Leave in the direction of the Demon clan. I can guarantee your safety. Well, that's it. Everyone can make a choice. The message transmitted through the rules of heaven and earth was naturally not a prank. The quiet cities shook violently in the next moment. There was panic in the crowd, and many people wanted to leave. In response, Zichen just watched silently. His mood did not fluctuate much. Compared to his return from the Holy Thunder Clan with his tail between his legs, these people's departure was nothing at all. Everyone who wants to leave, enter the teleportation array. I have changed the path of the teleportation array. It can directly send you out of the world. The teleportation fee will be waived. I wish everyone good luck. The power of the world's rules was injected into the teleportation array. Then, one by one, those who stepped into the teleportation array arrived outside the Tianwu world. Zichen did not stop everyone. When the war was about to start, he allowed everyone to leave. In the blink of an eye, many people were standing densely outside the world. At a glance, there were already more than 1 million people, and the number was still increasing crazily. After these people appeared, they turned around to look at Zichen's Tianwu world. Their expressions became somewhat complicated. Some of them, in particular, had signed a defense contract with Zhou Lina before coming to Tianwu world. As a result, they only had to pay a small fee to stay there. However, after Zichen gave them a chance, they breached the contract. Because of fear. Even the Holy Thunder Clan couldn't stop the gods and demons, so how could Zichen's Tianwu continent? These people felt guilty. They bowed deeply to Zichen's world, then turned around and left. The enormous holy realm that originally belonged to the Holy Thunder Clan was now mostly empty. Just as some people were considering whether they should leave through the Holy Thunder Clan, they saw a giant tree materialize and shrouded the huge Holy Thunder Clan. This was the tree of the Lightning Ancestor, the famous ancestral tree of the Holy Thunder Clan. It was said to be even older than Lei Zhengke. In the next moment, everyone saw the tree of the Lightning Ancestor wrapped the Holy Thunder Clan with the power of thunder and disappeared. The huge Holy Thunder Clan disappeared just like that. The entire Holy Thunder Clan went into hiding. Everyone looked at each other, and those who wanted to borrow the path smiled bitterly. It seemed that this time, the Tianwu world was doomed. At the same time, their hearts were filled with gratitude to Zichen. After all, Zichen gave them a choice and a chance to live. In a situation where they couldn't pass through the Holy Thunder Clan, everyone could only head in the direction of the demon race because the surrounding area had already fallen. When they flew to the area where the demon race was, everyone realized that no one came forward to stop them. It was as if they were ignored. Even though they remembered Zichen's words, they still held a skeptical attitude. At this moment, Mo Yi appeared. He stood in the void and said, Zichen has already informed you of the situation. You can all leave safely today. However, you only have 1 day. Once the time is up, you will be courting death if you come here again. Everyone silently thanked Zichen in their hearts, then quickly left. Mo Yi landed next to Mo Zhengtian and said with a smile, My lord, from the current number of people, it seems that the number of people has almost reached 10 million. This is only the first wave. I believe that there will be a second and third wave soon. Perhaps the number of people leaving will reach tens of millions. Hearing this number, Mo Di and Mo Yangshan's expressions changed. One had to know that there were no ordinary people in Zichen's world. Even the number of low-level existences was very small. Most of them were holy spirits. If Zichen hadn't notified them in advance and had forcibly mobilized these holy spirits to fight, the extent of destruction that could have been caused was unimaginable. However, Zichen had allowed them to leave. What kind of loss would this be to the Tianwu world? Mo Zhengtian also sighed and said, What Zichen did is really puzzling, but I have to say that it's very admirable. Out of all the people present, who could do what Zichen did? So many people have left. How many people will be left in Zichen's world? Mo Di said. When the time comes, will Zichen be the only one left when we fight our way in? This possibility existed. Zichen had sacrificed himself to save the lives of others. That's not very likely. Don't forget what the real battle strength of Zichen's world is, Mo Yi reminded him. If the god race hadn't come to help this time, with the strength of the demon race, it would be impossible for us to attack Zichen's world. This wasn't a casual remark. It had been unanimously agreed upon by the demon race. The time when they were tricked by the Lei Zheng family didn't count. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The originally lively world had become noisy this time. Many people had left. In addition to those people, many shops had also closed one after another. Zi Chen didn't stop those people from leaving, but he had to stop these shops. They could leave if they wanted to, but they had to leave the things in the shops behind. Of course, Zi Chen would buy them at the price of resources, but he would have to give them a discount during this period. The coming war was bound to last for a long time. Without the support of the outside world, the Tianwu world had to be self-sufficient. Therefore, the various resources here had to be left behind for long-term replenishment and battle. Soon, the shops closed their doors. Zi Chen went to find Jolina to discuss the details of the battle. For example, how to distribute merit points and how to exchange them for resources. Some people left, but some people came. And there were quite a few of them. Lei Di, Li Haoqing, the Spirit Race, and the second patriarch of the Meridian Race, the four Saint Venerables, all came to the Tianwu world. At the same time, little Lei, Lei Wushuang, Grace, and the others also came. They didn't come alone. They brought teams with them. Even the Grace family had come. Chapter 4785. When the Holy Thunder Clan went into hiding, Lei Zhengke gave everyone a choice, stay or leave. With Lei Zheng as the leader, of course, they had to leave. The Lei Zheng family, who had been suppressed by Zi Chen for many years, also became active because of Lei Zhengke's appearance. He stirred up some trouble for no reason and had the intention of showing off his presence. Lei Zheng, who had disappeared for many years, once again appeared in everyone's sight as a sacred venerable. The broken arm from back then had already grown back. Some people chose to go into hiding with the Holy Thunder Clan, but of course, there were also people who stayed. The Gra family was one of them, because the Holy Thunder Clan had completely disappointed them. Behind the arrogant Lei Zheng family, there might be Lei Zhengke. After cooperating with Zi Chen for many years, they had already walked on the opposite path from the Lei Zheng family. Once they left this time, no one dared to imagine what kind of situation the Gra family would face in the future. After all, the most promising person in the Gra family was Grace, but compared to sacred venerable Lei Zheng, Grace's status was still too low. Therefore, after much consideration, they left for the future of the family. Not a part of them stayed, but the whole family left, leaving no one behind. This was a huge gamble. Fortunately, what made them feel more at ease was that there were also a few sacred venerables who left. This should be the biggest comfort for the future. Some of the core members also came, and they had fought side by side with Zi Chen. This time, the Holy Thunder Clan was too ruthless, so they also left. They also brought a group of followers with them. There were also many people from some families who were on good terms with Zi Chen, but they did not completely cut off their relationship with the Holy Thunder Clan like the Gra family. Of course, before they came out, they naturally had to draw a clear line with their families, so they were all considered to have been expelled. Zi Chen was very touched by everyone's arrival, and he immediately sent people to arrange a place for everyone to stay. Chung Ho looked at Lei Di from afar and said that he was not too stupid. For many years, he had never liked Lei Zhengke. He didn't have a good impression of that fellow. Previously, he had even nagged Zi Chen to think of a plan to completely get rid of Lei Zhengke in the other world. If the Holy Thunder Clan were to be managed by Lei Zhengke, it would be destroyed sooner or later. The sudden disappearance of the Holy Thunder Clan shocked the Celestials and Demons, but it did not affect the higher-ups of the two races. Lei Zhengke had already seen through their true intentions. It was understandable that he chose to leave after coming out of seclusion. Therefore, no one pursued the disappearance of the Holy Thunder Clan. On the contrary, the gods and devils began to advance side by side towards Zi Chen's Tianwu world. As they advanced, an endless stream of experts came to support them. There were half-step holy venerates and holy venerates among them. Asterisk 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 asterisk. After the initial chaos, those who had to leave had left, and those who had to stay had stayed. The Tianwu world had returned to peace. A group of core disciples and the higher-ups of the Tianwu world gathered together. The gods and demons were already approaching. Zichen needed to come up with a battle plan. Or rather, where should he place the battlefield this time? Zichen was actually quite conflicted about this. The Tianwu world was Zichen's greatest reliance. He could guarantee that none of the demons who entered this place would leave alive. However, he only had this one world. If the initial battle was placed here, it would definitely affect the normal operation of the world to a certain extent. However, if it was placed in the outside world, Zichen's three main forces would be restricted. It would undoubtedly be sending them to their deaths. If he found a few worlds in advance and placed them outside the Tianwu world, they would not appear. This was because there were too many experts coming, and there were even half-step holy venerates among them. A temporary world might be destroyed in an instant. After thinking about it and discussing it with a group of experts, Zichen still decided to place the battlefield outside the world and fight with people in the early stages. After many years of development, the main force of the spirit race in Zichen's world had also reached an extremely large and terrifying level. It would not be a problem to maintain it for a period of time in the early stages. It was equivalent to a large-scale training of the troops. Many extreme core disciples and 9-star core disciples each led a team and then scattered outside the Tianwu world, waiting for the arrival of the gods and demons. Zichen did not fight. It was not that he was unwilling, but that everyone hoped that he could break through as soon as possible. Once Zichen became a holy venerate, the combat power of the Tianwu world would be even stronger. At that time, who would dare to come? The army of gods and demons arrived outside Zichen's world. There was an army of nearly 10 million soldiers, which was extremely spectacular. Luo Chishire and the others led people out and then divided the army of 10 million gods and demons. A 9-star god walked out from the front. He looked forward and said with a smile, "I heard that you were abandoned by the Holy Thunder clan. You must be caught off guard, right? Don't worry, I will give you some time to relax. Now, I want to fight you one-on-one. Who will come out and fight with me?" As the representative of the Tianwu world, Luo Chishire walked out. He could not let the extreme core disciples fight in the first battle. That would make the Tianwu world seem too weak. Luo Chishire carried a long sword on his back and walked out in the air. Behind him, there were shouts. "I'll start with you first." The 9-star god race being smiled faintly as he charged forward. He did not use a weapon. Divine light bloomed as he punched at Luo Chishire. Luo Chishire threw out a palm to meet the attack. With a loud bang, his body flew back nearly 100 feet. "A mere spirit race wants to compete with me in terms of physical strength. You overestimate yourself." The other party sneered and continued to move forward. A second punch appeared. The greatest advantage of the god race was their physical strength. This talent was stronger than that of the devil race, so it was normal for the other party to be at a disadvantage when fighting with Luo Chishire. Fortunately, the two sides were not far apart. They went back and fought for hundreds of rounds. The others also watched patiently and gave a few comments from time to time, but they were all for the god race. As for Luo Chishire's side, there was nothing outstanding. In the blink of an eye, nearly 1,000 moves had passed. After the two of them exchanged palms, they both retreated. "Why don't you use your sword?" the 9-star god race asked. The methods of the spirit race are to rely on external forces and directly use weapons. Today, I will show you the absolute power of the god race. Luo Chishire certainly would not refuse. Moreover, this was also the first battle. Of course, he could not embarrass the Tianwu world. Therefore, the long sword appeared behind Luo Chishire. Accompanied by a sword light, the 9-star god race stood there motionless. There was a sword hole in his chest, and blood was gushing out. Killed in one blow. The expressions of the people who were watching the battle calmly changed. This was an outcome that no one had expected. With a flash of light, the long sword flew back and fell into Luo Chishire's hand. The essence of this sword had already changed, but it was so sharp because a little bit of demon bone material was added to it. Chapter 4786. The result of this battle was out of everyone's expectations. They thought it would be an evenly matched battle, but it ended in an instant. A god race leader sighed and said, "This guy is too unscrupulous. He doesn't know the rules at all. Since that's the case, let's begin." He waved his hand, and the god race behind him pressed forward. A battle broke out. However, not all of the troops joined the battle. Only about 1/10 of them joined the battle. The heaven martial world began to send people to defend. A large-scale battle erupted. It could be considered a heroic one. As for how tragic it was, it couldn't be considered tragic. Once someone was injured, they would immediately withdraw from the battlefield, unless they were unlucky enough to meet someone who could kill them instantly. After the god race attacked, the demon race also attacked. Mo Zhengtian's position was relatively close to the front, and Mo Yizhen was behind him. Looking at the battlefield in front of her, Mo Yizhen frowned. Mo Zhengtian smiled and said, "What do you see?" Mo Yizhen said, "This is different from the life-or-death battle I imagined." "It's not a life-or-death battle to begin with," Mo Zhengtian said. "To put it bluntly, it's a battle of attrition. We'll see who can last until the end." Mo Yizhen noticed that the Holy Venerables and even the half-step Holy Venerables in the crowd didn't make a move. They were still hiding in the dark. This battle was still a battle of the Holy Spirits. Mo Yizhen didn't quite understand what this meant. The God race and demon race hated Zichen to the core, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that they wanted to skin Zichen alive. However, they had fought their way here with great difficulty. Why didn't they seize the time? No matter how extraordinary Zichen's world was, it was definitely no match for the God race and demon race. Why were they doing this now? Weren't they worried that Zichen would give them a huge surprise after breaking through to become a holy venerate? Zichen's legendary deeds had long been spread. Being invincible wasn't something that could be casually said. Was no one afraid? When the time came, Zichen would be a holy venerate, and it would be easy for him to deal with those of the same realm. Mo Zhengtian seemed to have guessed Mo Yizhen's thoughts. The higher-ups have their own plans. It's meaningless for us to worry blindly. He smiled. And this time, even if the sky falls down, there won't be any accidents. Because one Zichen can't compare to the entire celestial and demon race. They naturally have their reasons for choosing this strategy. All we can do is follow their orders. Mo Yi nodded shakily. However, she was still doubtful. She was different from Mo Zhengtian. She thought about many more things. At this moment, a holy venerate aura appeared behind them. They immediately turned around and saw Mo Wuda. Mo Yizhen immediately bowed and called out, "Father." Actually, he was her father-in-law, but after changing her surname, Mo Yizhen had been using this title. Mo Yi Yang stood behind Mo Wuda and looked at Mo Yi with a smile. "Greetings, my lord." Mo Zhengtian and the others immediately bowed. No matter what, the Holy Venerate was a high and mighty existence worthy of respect. It was said that Zichen had once called Lei Zheng an old bastard. Such disrespectful behavior was rarely seen. "There's no need to be so courteous. I just happened to be here, so I came to see you all." Mo Wuda waved his hand and looked at Mo Yizhen with gentle eyes. "Your performance was not bad. I'm very pleased. Since the invasion until now, Mo Yizhen's contributions were enough to rank him in the top 3. However, his losses were the smallest. Other than those disgusting rumors, Mo Yizhen's performance this time was almost perfect. The Holy Venerates had once discussed Mo Yizhen's behavior. From the perspective of benefits, Mo Yizhen's actions were very worthy of affirmation. However, the Holy Venerates didn't reject the rumors. After all, if a person's life was too smooth, it was inevitable that they would become arrogant. Appropriate beating would help them grow. At the very least, they wouldn't forget their own status. Because of Mo Wuda's arrival, Mo Zhengtian signaled his demon race in advance to withdraw their troops. Since an elder had come to visit, they should at least have a meal. On the way back, Mo Di and Mo Yang's holy venerate from the Danswa clan also came. This surprised the two of them, but at the same time, they were very proud. When they walked, their backs seemed to be straighter than before. In the past, the 3 holy venerates had quite a bit of enmity between them. However, As the younger generation's contributions to the saint spirit world increased, in front of huge benefits, the enmity naturally disappeared with a smile. Among the three holy venerates, Mo Wuda's relationship with others was the best. The main reason for this was that the slots that Mo Yizhen had taken out to enter the strange world had earned him a good reputation. During the meal, as the eldest of the three in name, Mo Zhengtian toasted the elders one by one, appearing extremely courteous. "We should be staying here for a very long time. So, Zhengtian, if you have any problems, you can come find us," said Mo Wuda with a smile. Mo Zhengtian said in surprise, "Even the holy venerates said that it would be a very long time." "Naturally, it won't be a short time. It seems that Zichen's world is rather difficult to deal with. Could it be that it will take 10,000 years? Mo Wuda smiled. "It won't take that long. However, we don't know how long it will take. Perhaps it will depend on the Tianwu continent." "Yes, that is, Zichen's world." Mo Yizhen's expression changed. She seemed to have guessed something, but she didn't say anything at this time. Over the next period of time, Mo Yizhen secretly observed. More holy venerates had arrived. Once, when she was drinking with a disciple of the devil race, he casually said, "It seems that nearly 30% of the holy venerates are rushing in this direction." That news shocked Mo Yizhen. It had to be known that 30% of the holy venerates represented the entire devil world. Just how many were there? Not only that, but there was also the god race. Furthermore, they were only facing the Tianwu world. Could it be that the threat of Zichen had already surpassed the threat of the holy race? After all, when they were dealing with the Holy Thunder Clan, there hadn't been such a huge commotion. The battle continued. It was as if both sides were refining weapons. Every day, they would fight. However, the casualties weren't too great. This kind of war of attrition would last for decades. A few decades ago, Mo Zhengtian and the others would still come to watch over this place. But after a few decades, they rarely appeared. In fact, even across the entire battlefield, it was rare to see a 9-star existence. Everyone was in seclusion, preparing to charge into the holy venerate realm in one go. Time passed. Another few decades later, good news came from the devil race. Those existences who had obtained the fiend god's inheritance had finally taken a small step forward. They had gone from half-step holy venerates to true holy venerates. Chapter 4787. To the demon race, this was great news. But to the god race, this was not good news at all. Similarly, it was the same for the Tianwu world. Mo Zhengtian and the others did not appear. On the battlefield, there were still only 8-star saint spirits. The holy sages of the gods and demons came, but they did not fight. The holy sages of the Tianwu world did not come out either. A holy sages of the demon race quietly came to the battlefield. He looked at the battlefield in front of him and only said, "Attack." The real siege began. The main forces of the gods and demons pressed toward the Tianwu world. The pressure on everyone increased greatly. Then, they began to retreat until they completely retreated into the Tianwu world. Before Zichen went into seclusion, he said that once the teams retreated, they had to report this matter to him. He walked out of the treehouse and looked up at the defeated teams returning to the city. The Tianwu world was his only support. Once the gods and demons entered, it would be the real final battle. He thought that before the gods and demons entered, he would have broken through. He did not expect that he would still be 9-star. Zichen waved his hand, and the protection outside the Tianwu world disappeared. This meant that the gods and demons could enter freely without any obstruction. Not long after, battle cries rang out in the sky. The gods and demons descended upon the Tianwu world. Zichen, who looked up, could see the gods and demons, but they could not see Zichen. They could not even see Zichen's world. What they saw was a patch of green vegetation. As far as the eye could see, there was nothing but dense ancient trees. Zichen did not look at the situation outside, but he had already guessed that there must be many holy sages standing guard. They would not give him a chance to escape. Zichen could not see where the future lay. Would he break through and become a holy sage? But could he break through? Or was he really facing death this time? Standing outside the treehouse, Chen was a little distracted. He shook his head and dispelled the distracting thoughts in his mind. As the Lord of the world, the war had not yet begun. How could he be pessimistic? Countless people lived here. If he was pessimistic, what would the others do? Chen sorted out his emotions and turned back to the treehouse. The most important thing now was to break through as soon as possible. Once Xiao Chen became a holy venerate, perhaps the situation would change. Just as Chen returned to the treehouse, gods and demons descended from the sky and landed in various parts of the Qianwu world. The dense forest automatically opened up a path for them. As they entered, the forest closed up again, forming a no-fly zone. The first batch of gods and devils to enter the world didn't even cause the slightest ripple before vanishing into the sea of trees. When the other gods and demons saw this, they stopped descending and attacked the ground below. All the ancient trees were connected together, forming a net-like restriction that blocked all the attacks. This was Chen's world, and it would not be easy to conquer it. After a few more attempts, the remaining gods and devils retreated to the outskirts of Qianwu world. As for how to attack next, they would have to discuss it again. In fact, using holy venerates was the simplest and most effective method. After all, there were many holy venerates outside. However, for some reason, the gods and demons gave up on this simplest and most straightforward method. After the second entry, a few half-step holy venerates came and opened up a path for them. They took the lead and entered first. Then, they destroyed the nearby ancient trees. Soon, a spacious area appeared nearby. The other gods and demons quickly entered and worked together to expand in all directions. The weakness of Chen's world was the half-step holy venerates. However, it was not that there were none. After many years of development, although the Lost Clan had yet to produce a holy venerate, some half-step holy venerates had joined the battlefield. As a result, the gods and demons were defeated again, and only a portion of them returned. However, the higher-ups didn't care about these losses and continued to send people in. During this period, the number of half-step holy venerates was still increasing. They didn't care about the number of casualties. What they cared about was the pressure. As long as Chen felt the pressure, it would be fine. Under such pressure, he could quickly grow until he broke through and then die. The gods and demons had failed again and again, and many of their elites had died. However, the Lost Clan was also dying, and every one of them was very precious. Not only did Chen feel the pressure, but the pressure was also not small. Outside the martial heaven world, there were countless gods and devils. They had completely surrounded the world. Not even a fly would be able to get out. The surrounding void was constantly twisting and distorting, creating ripples in the void. This was a unique method of the demon race. Under these ripples, no one could teleport away. This was to prevent Chen's spirit core. After all, with the spirit core, Chen could go anywhere he wanted. Liu Shangyaro and Ning Hua stood in the air, looking at the scene below. They remained silent for a long time. After a long time, Ning Hua said, "How about this?" Liu Shangyaro nodded and said, "From the looks of it, the future of the divine spirit realm will depend on this final battle. Then let's go and wait for the great battle to come." Ning Hua smiled bitterly and said, "However, no matter how I look at it, there is no chance of victory. This generation of the Ling clan is really disappointing." Liu Shangyaro said, "Then you should pray that the Ling clan in the next life will be more united." Next life? Ning Hua sighed and said, "If I die in battle, then so be it. I hope there won't be a next life. After living 2 lives and seeing so many people, I'm already tired." "Why? The battle hasn't started yet, and you're already prepared to die." The ripples surged, and another ancient holy venerable appeared. Then, more ripples shook from the surroundings, and more holy venerables appeared. They were the ancient holy venerables who guarded the 2 gates. They had silently contributed to the Ling clan for many years. No one knew of their existence. As the pattern of the world changed, this world no longer needed them to guard. This time, they gathered here to participate in the final battle. It had to be said that the Ling clan in this life was very aggrieved. All the major forces were extremely selfish, so many tragic battles were fought by small figures. The scene of many experts fighting to the death like in the past could no longer be seen. These ancient holy venerables saw all the battles and were naturally tired. More than 20 ancient holy venerables gathered and then descended from the sky, forming a holy venerable pressure that even the void couldn't resist. Outside Zichen's Tianwu world, the god race and the demon race quickly retreated, shocked. Even the expressions of many holy venerables changed greatly. This aura was much stronger than theirs. Old Man Ji's figure rose into the sky, and he smiled faintly at the distance. "It seems that you have chosen this place after all." Ninghua said, "Pray. This time, we won't let you go again. I hope you have the ability." Everyone descended and entered Zichen's world. Just as they entered Zichen's world suddenly became unstable. Two old men, one in black and the other in white, also appeared in a certain city. Chapter 4788. After the two old men who made a living as storytellers appeared, they greeted everyone with a smile. The battle outside was tense, but the city was still lively. There were crowds of people on the streets, and there were also shops and restaurants that were open. The other people who lived here seemed to know the two of them and nodded kindly when they passed by. The two old men blended into the life of the city. Even ancient tree King Giano did not notice it. Occasionally, when he passed by this place, he seemed to have a familiar feeling in his mind. The door of the tavern was open, and the white-robed old man began his daily business. As for the black-robed old man, he mainly made a living by telling Zichen's dark history. Of course, there was no room for him to live here, so he relied on the white-robed old man to support him. On this day, the two of them found a very small tavern. It was said that it was opened by a native of the Tianwu continent. "Looks like we're going to witness another rise and fall." The white-robed old man drank the wine in his bowl. The wine was strong and had a mellow fragrance. Although it could not be compared to those good wines, it was better at a fair price. "Aren't we already used to it?" The black-robed old man said indifferently, "The world is damaged, and the two of us are unemployed because of this. We can tour the world for countless years, isn't that great?" The white-robed old man did not say anything, but he was filled with endless emotions. The war in the current world was obviously different from the previous era. The current spirit race was incomparably disappointing in all aspects. Fortunately, there was still Zichen, which gave the world a little flame of hope. But how long could this flame of hope last? Would it gradually extinguish like a candle flame? Or would it burn fiercely like a single spark? The old man could not guess, so he came here to see the direction of the current spirit race with his own eyes. Perhaps, there would be no more spirit race in the future. Zichen walked out of his room and personally welcomed the arrival of a group of ancient sacred sages. He was very surprised and even a little overwhelmed by the favor. One had to know that there should only be so many ancient sacred sages alive in the current world, but they had all come to his world. This place was not like the other world, and the respect that should be shown was still necessary. Zichen cupped his fists and bowed to everyone, looking at them with anticipation. Ninghua went forward and patted him on the shoulder. "Don't look, no one broke through." "Why?" Zichen didn't understand. It had been many years since they left this world. According to everyone's talent, they should have reached the demon realm by now. In such a situation, if a demon really appeared, it might be a magnificent feat to turn the tide. The spirit race has fallen, and the world's providence no longer favors us. The great Tao has been forcefully divided into 3 parts. With the spirit realm constantly being eaten away, it will be extremely difficult to break through. This is also the main reason why you haven't broken through yet. Ninghua said, "But we didn't break through because of the illusory restrictions of heaven and earth." Zichen was puzzled. Ninghua pointed to the sky and said, "The entire spiritual realm seems to be shrouded by a mysterious force, so everyone can't touch the so-called demon realm. It's not just us, but also the god and demon races." This was only Ninghua's guess. As for the specific reason, no one could say for sure. But at the very least, Zichen knew why he couldn't cross the threshold. "You have to speed up." Many people from the demon race have already broken through, and some of them are even existences from the same era as you. Finally, Ninghua said, in order to prepare for the arrival of the final battle, we discussed before coming here. In the following time, we will wholeheartedly help you forge some weapons. I heard that you have a lot of demon materials here. Take them out and we will do our best to forge more weapons before the final battle. Okay. Zichen certainly didn't have any objections. This was a good thing that couldn't be asked for. Among the original Holy Venerables, only Lei Di was able to condense a portion of demon bones. It was extremely difficult for others to do so. Only ancient Holy Venerables could completely condense demon bones. Back in the other world, Zichen had the ability to condense demon bones. But after coming out, he couldn't. He could only look on as these good things remained motionless in front of him. Zichen took out all the demon bones he had, not hiding anything. At this time, whether or not he could survive was still a question. There was no point in hoarding resources. In this world, who could survive? Probably everyone had hope, except for Zichen. Zichen was very touched that others were willing to come at this time, especially these ancient Holy Venerables. Not only did he take out the demon bones, but he also took out all the inner cores. After that, Zichen continued to cultivate in seclusion. The ancient Holy Venerables began to condense all kinds of weapons. The 9-star Holy Spirits had yet to come out of seclusion, and those below 8-star were still fighting. Every time the gods and demons invaded, they would return in failure. Their losses were not small, but they would be able to attack again very soon. Not only did their morale not decrease, but the pressure on Zichen's side increased. In other places, the flames of war continued, but the offensive weakened. This was because the gods and demons had transferred most of their forces to outside the Tianwu world. The entire Saint Spirit realm knew the reason. Some people were shocked. Zichen had only been in the Saint Spirit realm for a few years and had only developed his own forces for a few years. How could he be so important to the gods and demons? However, there were also many people who clapped and cheered. They felt that the heavens had opened their eyes. The arrogant Zichen was finally going to be unlucky. Unknowingly, there were no traces of 9-star Holy Spirits in the entire Saint Spirit realm. Everyone was trying to break through in seclusion. However, there seemed to be a problem on the spirit race's side. Almost no one was breaking through. On the contrary, the gods and demons, who had entered the alternate world together, were breaking through one after another. Finally, one day, a powerful aura surged out of Mo Zhengtian's room. Then, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth surged wildly. A pressure that belonged to a holy venerate spread out from the room. Mo Zhengtian had become a holy venerate. Similar scenes kept happening on the demon race and god race's side. As for the gods and demons, every additional holy venerate increased the pressure on the spirit race. The great Tao's favor that no one could see had already tilted. In the small tavern, the white-robed elder who had just finished a day's work looked out of the window. He said, "It seems that everyone has sensed it." With the appearance of the gods and demons' holy venerates, all the cultivators of the spirit race felt the pressure. At the same time, it was as if there were invisible shackles on their bodies, greatly affecting their cultivation speed. At this moment, through the unseen perception, all the 9-star Holy Spirits understood what had happened. The heavens and earth's favor for the spirit race was rapidly weakening. The gods and demons had snatched away the favor of the natural laws. Therefore, the gods and demons' breakthroughs were exceptionally fast, but they were still unable to take that step. However, it was already too late to realize this now. Everything could not be undone. The spirit race's early retreat had led to the current situation. Moreover, this was only the beginning. As time passed, existences of other levels would also gradually sense it. Perhaps one day, if the spirit race wanted to become a 1-star Holy Spirit, they would have to cross a huge threshold. The black-robed elder snorted and said, "You reap what you sow, it's too late to regret." Now, with the current situation, it's even more difficult for the spirit race to become a holy venerate. Even ordinary holy venerates are like this, let alone Zichen. I originally thought that with Zichen in this era, it would not be so insignificant. However, I did not expect that because of the suppression of the heavens and earth, Chen would not even be qualified to become a holy venerate. The white-robed elder did not object this time. If this situation continued, without the favor of the heavens and earth, it would be impossible for Chen to become a holy venerate. Unless a miracle happened. However, when it came to the great Tao of the heavens and earth, how could there be a miracle? Even Chen, the creator of miracles, could not create a miracle. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In a place very far away from the Tianwu world, there was a mysterious mountain. It was surrounded by clouds all year round, and its true appearance could not be seen clearly. Today, the aura of a holy venerate suddenly spread out from it. Someone from the spirit race had broken through. To be able to break through at this time was simply a miracle. This was the Tianyang Peak. Shang-Ti, who had her eyes closed, opened her eyes after sensing the aura of a holy venerate. She turned around and looked in the direction of the Tianyang Peak. Suddenly, she said, "So the turning point is here." A person walked out from the peak. Her white clothes fluttered in the wind like a fairy. She was Su Mengyao. Holy Venerate Su Mengyao. Chapter 4789. The white-robed old man also raised his head to look at the sky. His expression changed. Who is it? Who is it that can win the spirit race's favor at this time? He was extremely shocked. This was equivalent to winning the favor of the great path for the spirit race among the countless demons and deities. It was equivalent to snatching it from the two races. How incredible was this? After all, even Chen, who was truly favored by the great path, had not broken through yet. Furthermore, due to the increasing number of holy venerates among the deities and demons, Chen was firmly suppressed and would completely lose his chance to break through. But now, because of this opportunity, some unpredictable changes were about to occur. Interesting. I did not expect the spirit race to have a turn of events at this time. Following that, the white-robed old man chuckled. Since the change had appeared, everything was unknown. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Suddenly, a strong pressure appeared in Shengmo region. This pressure formed a might that completely enveloped Shengmo region. The false demons living here had no idea what was going on. For a moment, they were a little flustered. Could it be that the demon race had invaded? All along, the demons had tried to rope them in, wanting them to formally return to the demon race. However, they were all rejected by the master of Shengmo region. As a result, the two sides started fighting. Just then, a strange phenomenon appeared in the sky. The image of a huge ape appeared out of nowhere. It was so tall that the entire Shengmo region seemed tiny in front of it. Its eyes were crimson red, and demonic qi lingered around it. It was like a real demon god. This feeling was like the scene of the Holy Thunder Clan's Tree of Lightning disappearing with the Holy Thunder Clan. That huge figure gave off a feeling of supremacy. That huge ape image lasted for a very long time. When it disappeared, there was one more holy venerate in the entire Shengmo region. The demonic ape in the room scratched its head. After breaking through to become a holy venerate, it was more confused than excited. It was only a step away from the door. However, it was this step that prevented it from opening the door and entering. It tried again and again, but it failed again and again. However, not long ago, this opportunity came. It was as if someone had helped it open a crack in the door. With a push, it became a holy venerate. Could it be that the drop of blood given by that senior worked? The devil ape thought of the second level of this strange world. It was the senior who was suppressed under the mountain. At that time, when everyone was searching for opportunities, the senior secretly gave him a drop of blood. No one knew. At the core of the Buddhist domain, a large Buddha suddenly appeared. The large Buddha put his palms together and chanted the name of Buddha. Countless golden ripples surged out. This was pure Buddhist power that enveloped the Buddhist domain. Wherever the Buddha's light passed, everyone felt as if their souls were being cleansed. They all bowed towards the depths. Many old monks stood up and put their palms together in the direction of the great Buddha. They knew that this was their junior brother breaking through, taking that step. From then on, the Buddhist tribe gained another holy sovereign. Not only did they have a powerhouse to oversee the tribe, but they also received the blessings of the heavens and earth. Holy venerates should appear one after another in the Buddhist domain. In the sword domain, a sharp sword chi soared into the sky. Then, the aura of a sword sovereign appeared. Ever since the first wisp of heavens will had appeared at the Tianyang Peak, the heavens will had changed little by little. Holy venerates had slowly appeared within the Ling tribe. One after another. The two old men in the Tianwu world could clearly sense the direction of the Great Path. The originally infinite darkness of the Ling tribe had changed because of that ray of light. Now, the Great Path had appeared once again. The holy venerates of the Ling tribe had also appeared like bamboo shoots after a spring rain. If one sensed carefully or looked down from an extremely high place, one would discover that holy venerates had appeared in all directions with the Tianwu world as the center. Or rather, with the Tianyang Peak as the beginning, holy venerates had started to appear in the Ling tribe. The Great Path's blessings had started to approach the Tianwu world from all directions. Is this the will of the heavens? The black-robed old man was stunned. He could not see the situation clearly. Perhaps. The white-robed old man smiled faintly. The originally unfavorable situation for the Ling tribe had actually turned around. In this way, once the Great Path's blessings spread to all parts of the Saint Spirit realm, Zichen's breakthrough would be a matter of course. The god race and the demon race also sensed this situation. Hence, they strengthened their attacks once again. Nearly 10 million soldiers entered Zichen's Tianwu world. This time, they were led by many half-step holy venerates. Large amounts of vegetation in the forest disappeared. Groups of humanoid creatures could not withstand a single blow from the half-step holy venerates. The god race and the demon race formed a huge army and started to attack the various cities. Everything in their path was destroyed. The power of half-step holy venerates was extremely fatal. Due to the suppression of numbers, the vestigial race could only retreat continuously. Jolena was not in closed-door cultivation. She could see the entire battlefield through the ancient tree king. Hence, she had the 9-star holy spirits come out of closed-door cultivation one by one. In a situation where there were not many half-step holy venerates, she could only let the 9-star holy spirits fight against half-step holy venerates. As for what they relied on, they added a little demon bone to their weapons, which greatly increased the quality of their holy weapons. Luo Chishure was the first to come out of closed-door cultivation. He had already become the representative of the Holy Thunder clan. After he came out, he held the sword and stepped onto the battlefield. On the battlefield, Luo Chishure held the sword with his right hand. A strong aura surged out of his right hand as he swung his sword. The world buzzed and trembled. A hazy sword light shot towards the half-step holy venerate in front. Pu. Blood spurted out as the half-step holy venerate flew back. A bloody hole appeared in his chest. The half-step holy venerate, who originally had a disdainful expression, now looked at Luo Chishure in shock. He was actually injured by a mere 9-star holy spirit. Luo Chishure smiled coldly and swung his sword a second time. Like before, he held the sword with his right hand. Zichen had previously obtained Lei Zheng's holy venerate arm, which he had condensed into his own body. This sword strike contained some of the holy venerate's aura. Naturally, it was strong. After the second sword strike, the injured half-step holy venerate retreated. Swarms of black ants appeared from the ground and charged at the demons. As long as the strongest force retreated, all of this was nothing to Giano. More 9-star holy spirits appeared in other places. Some faced half-step holy venerates alone while others worked together. When the vestigial race members saw this scene, their eyes lit up. If they had such weapons, their combat prowess would increase significantly. Hence, Tasha stepped forward to discuss this matter with Jolena, even if she had to pay a certain price. In response, Jolena generously agreed to everyone's request. She would give them a certain amount of demonic demon materials in advance, which could be deducted from their future military merits. Chapter 4790. The battle lasted for hundreds of years. Both sides had suffered great losses. The enormous Tianwu world had already fallen by about a third under the constant siege of the celestial and demon races. Luo Chishure and the others had no time to cultivate. They had to participate in every battle and were mentally exhausted. Jiano's ancient forest had been battered into pieces, and its combat power had been greatly reduced. The mother nest and the underground black ants had also suffered great losses. However, the celestial and demon races had suffered even greater losses. The total number of people who had died in battle had exceeded 20 million, and it was still increasing. Among them, the number of half-holy venerables who had died in battle had reached 10. During this time, they had fought their way into a city. However, they had to retreat again and again in the face of the attacks of the powerful cultivators in the city. From the looks of it, the Tianwu world was bound to fall. It was only a matter of time. Outside the Tianwu world, many holy venerables from the two races had gathered. If all of them attacked together, they could destroy Zichen's world in an instant. However, they did not. Instead, they stood guard outside and did not launch any attacks. Even if they knew that with each passing day, countless gods and devils would die in battle. Old Man Ge met with the devil race again to discuss the future attack plan. They tentatively decided that they would attack Zichen's world in a month's time. To them, who had endless lives, a month was too fast. When the appointed time arrived, more than 10 holy venerables led a team to attack Zichen's Tianwu world. During this time, an ancient holy venerable followed them. In this battle, Cheng Ho and Ning Hua fought. While repelling the demon race, they also killed a holy venerable. The remaining holy venerable returned with injuries. The next day, another 10 holy venerables entered the battlefield. The Tianwu world sent out another 2 ancient holy venerables. This was because the Tianwu world only had more ancient holy venerables. Battle after battle, it seemed like a probing battle, but it also seemed like a decisive battle. Many people died every day. After a month of battle, more than half of Zichen's Tianwu world had fallen. Jiano's ancient tree was no longer a threat to the two races. Thus, one place after another was vacated for the celestials and demons to set up camp. Mo Yijan, who was one step away from the holy venerate realm, was forcefully awakened from her closed-door cultivation. Not only him, but also Mo Di and Mo Yang. When the three gathered together and saw that Mo Zhengtian had already become a holy venerate, they quickly congratulated him. At the same time, the three of them felt a bit regretful because they were going to die soon. If they didn't come out now, everything would be better. There's no need to feel dejected. I called you out earlier because I didn't want you to miss the final moment. Mo Zhengtian smiled faintly. It seemed that after becoming a saint venerate, not only had his temperament changed, even his nature had changed. Oh! Mo Yi's heart trembled. It's time for the final battle. More or less. Right now, the forces gathered outside are enough to destroy Zichen's world. It doesn't matter if there are a few more of you. But if you miss this battle, you will regret it for life. Mo Zhengtian said, because this signifies the end of an era. The three of them immediately became excited. This was indeed a rare scene. Under Mo Zhengtian's lead, Mo Yi and the other two flew in the direction of Tianwu world. Before they even got close, the three of them already felt a strong oppressive aura. There were many holy venerates from both the god race and demon race. Even if they deliberately restrained their auras, the invisible pressure still made the three of them feel oppressed. With Mo Zhengtian's arrival, many people nodded at him. Let's go. I'll bring you directly to Zichen's world. Mo Zhengtian didn't stay there for long. Mo Yi looked around. She realized that the troops that had arrived were neat and orderly. They should be ready for battle. We already have a stronghold in Zichen's world? Mo Di asked curiously. We've already conquered many territories. Next, we'll start the final battle with those territories. When they arrived outside Zichen's world, they didn't encounter any form of obstruction. Where's Zichen? He hasn't broken through yet? Mo Yi asked with a trembling voice. No, he hasn't appeared in a long time. It's said that he's cultivating with all his might. He's lucky. Last time, I heard the ancient holy venerates say that if it weren't for the sudden change in the world's favor, Zichen probably wouldn't have had the chance to break through. Mo Zhengtian smiled indifferently. He finally had something faster than Zichen. Why? What do you mean why? Mo Zhengtian looked at Mo Yi. If it's just to attack Zichen's world, I believe that the god race and demon race can do it. Why wait until now to attack? They're even deliberately giving Zichen time to grow. In truth, as long as one wasn't mentally ill, one could see this problem. However, no one knew the real reason. If they really wanted Zichen dead, they would have conquered the Tianwu continent 100 years ago. But they didn't. In the past 100 years, the two races had lost many people because of this. I'm also not sure. But this time, the ancient holy venerates of the god race and demon race have all come here. Perhaps they want to completely destroy the spirit race here. After all, the majority of the spirit race's ancient holy venerates are here. With Mo Zhengtian's status, he didn't have the qualifications to know the true secrets. After entering Zichen's world, Mo Yi saw stronghold after stronghold. Back then, Zichen's world had been said to be unbreakable. Now, most of it was empty. However, the ancient trees between the cities were still connected. They looked very imposing. However, in front of absolute power, tearing apart these defenses was just a matter of time. In any case, with just a glance, Mo Yi knew that Zichen was in danger. Even if he became a holy venerate, he might not be able to break through. A few days later, the main attack began. The god race and demon race's armies pressed forward. In a short time, they destroyed all the ancient trees that connected the cities of Zichen's world. Then, under the lead of many holy venerates, they began to advance into those cities. However, they encountered stubborn resistance and were forced to retreat. After this repeated 5 or 6 times, there were very few ancient trees in Zichen's world. As far as the eye could see, there were only isolated cities of trees. Furthermore, those tree cities were in imminent danger. It seemed like they could be broken through at any moment. Zichen's world had reached its final moments. If Zichen still couldn't break through, the Tianwu continent would fall. In the treehouse, Zichen opened his eyes. He stood up and looked outside the treehouse. He had gained a new comprehension of heaven and earth. At the same time, he gained a new understanding of the spirit race's laws. It was like a kind of enlightenment, but also like success had come naturally. He extended his hand, and a holy venerate's aura appeared. Chapter 4791. When the situation in the Tianwu world was at its most critical, Zichen broke through and became a holy venerate. There was no epiphany that broke through the bottleneck, and there was no clarity that cleared the fog. There was only a calm and leisurely breakthrough. The first strand of holy venerate power appeared in Zichen's palm. Looking at this power that he had yearned for even in his dreams, Zichen did not have the excited expression that he had imagined. His expression was calm, and there were no ripples in his heart. The holy venerate power belonged to a higher level of power, and it was also the most powerful power in this world. Zichen felt the treehouse tremble slightly as if it could not withstand this pressure. Buzz. Zichen dispersed this power. In his body, the original Holy Spirit power was transforming into the Holy Venerate power. The power of heaven and earth surged in from all directions and entered Zichen's body. Zichen broke through, and a strange phenomenon appeared in the Tianwu world. The suppressed precepts of heaven and earth suddenly became very active. Vortexes appeared in the sky one after another. The energy from the void was swallowed by the vortexes and surged wildly toward the Tianwu world. After this energy appeared, it was broken down into pure power by the precepts. It was like a rain of precepts that fell from the sky. It was vast and mighty, irrigating every blade of grass, every tree, and every flower. It nourished everything in the world. All living beings that were compatible with the spirit tribe's precepts enjoyed great benefits at this moment. It was like a withered crop that had been irrigated by the timely rain. The half-holy venerates who were covered in the rain all had great gains. The threshold of holy venerate that they could not cross no matter what seemed to have become very short at this moment. It was right in front of them. They could reach it with just a lift of their feet. They were very excited. They all sat on the ground and broke through. They stood up and became holy venerates. As for the battle, it stopped when the strange phenomenon appeared. All the gods and demons who did not understand retreated out of the city. They retreated far away from the city. When they saw their enemies break through to holy venerate one after another, they were very shocked. The precepts of precepts covered the world densely, irrigating all living beings. Many plants grew rapidly like bamboo shoots after the rain. Then, they turned into towering trees, full of green. Ancient trees began to grow in the areas that had been cleared away by the gods and devils. The black ants and mother nest creatures that had been hiding underground emerged one after another, greedily absorbing the energy rain. In this rare rain of light, their auras skyrocketed. This was a rare gift. It was a gift from the great Tao. All the creatures of the Tianwu world were blessed by the heavens and earth under this rain of light, and they reaped great benefits. This was for the living beings of the Ling race. For the gods and demons that had come here, this rain was of no benefit at all. The falling rain of laws could not be blocked by energy barriers at all. Once it landed on the body, not only would it not provide any benefits, it would also make one feel as if they were sinking into a quagmire, making them feel extremely uncomfortable. This was the rejection of the great Tao. At the very least, at this moment, in this place, the great Tao of the Saint Spirit realm still favored the Ling clan. Moreover, this kind of scene of watching others break through made them feel even more uncomfortable in their hearts. The high morale from before had long disappeared. While they were shocked, their hearts were also filled with doubts. Why would such a situation occur? Mo Yi, who had been drenched by the rain of light, trembled. He also felt uncomfortable. He looked at the strange scene around him and guessed the reason. He said in surprise, "Such a big commotion. Is Zi Chen breaking through?" Mo Zhengtian nodded. His expression became extremely solemn. Before the strange phenomenon appeared, as a holy venerate, he had already felt a powerful aura in this world. That aura made him tremble. Before he had even fought with that aura, he knew that he was no match for it. Zi Chen breaking through to become a holy venerate was not as simple as having another holy venerate in the Tianwu world. Because of his breakthrough, the situation in the Tianwu world would change greatly. At the very least, one of the big effects that could be seen was that all the half-step holy venerates had taken that half-step. Mo Di and Mo Yangdan Zhuo were stunned. He broke through just like that. Wasn't it too fast? As the two looked at the scene before them, their hearts were filled with envy. Unfortunately, they were of the demon race. If they were of the spirit race, they might have been able to use this law rain to break through. Underground, the huge broodmother nest stayed in a space by itself. Many clumps of light were placed in front of it. These clumps of light were the size of small mountains. These were demonic beast cores. However, they had been diluted many times, so they were very large. The rain of light in the sky had been forcefully transported into this space through the laws. The moment the broodmother nest was bathed in the rain of light, it started to gobble up those diluted clumps of light. One at a time. Given the broodmother nest's current cultivation, it did not dare to gobble up the demonic beast cores. Not only would that be useless, but the energy would also be too terrifying and cause the broodmother nest to explode. After the diluted clumps of light, it was different. The energy of the demonic beast cores was continuously diluted, making it a true fortuitous encounter. Mixed with the rain of light, the broodmother nest gobbled up the diluted demonic beast cores. Its aura started to soar. Finally, it took that incredible step. The aura of a holy venerate surged in this space. The broodmother nest let out an excited roar. Perhaps, it had become the first holy venerate level broodmother nest in history. The same scene was happening to the Ant Queen and the ancient Tree King Jiano. This was an opportunity that Zi Chen had prepared for them a long time ago, but he was not sure if it would help them break through. Now, it seemed like it had succeeded. It was this pure rain of light that had greatly increased their refining speed. They only needed to absorb it to become their own power. Of course, the Great Path's blessing was also the main reason. The 9-star holy spirits who stayed in this city also had similar diluted demonic beasts around them. However, they did not have as many as the broodmother nest. Even so, they broke through one after another with the help of this rain of light. For the Tianwu world, this was a year of breakthroughs. It was also a time of harvest. In the blink of an eye, the aura of a holy venerate surged in the Tianwu world. The world laws absorbed more power from the void to replenish this world. People were breaking through. When the Tianwu world was decomposing the power of the void, its grade was also increasing. Outside the Tianwu world, the void became very chaotic. The restriction that they had set up to prevent Zichen from leaving using the spirit core began to tremble violently. It seemed like it could break at any time. The holy venerates of the god and demon races watched this scene. Their expressions all changed. This was too big of a commotion. Old Man Ge quickly stepped forward and shouted, "Stabilize the restriction. Don't let our efforts go to waste. Zichen has broken through. The time for a battle of life and death has come. We must not let him escape at this time." The battle of life and death had finally come after so many years of waiting. The ancient holy venerates, who had lived for 2 eras, all stepped forward to stabilize the restriction. At this moment, they were also very shocked. The entire void was distorting. Such a huge commotion was actually caused by Zichen alone. How amazing was this? Perhaps only an existence who was favored by the great path could have such power. During this time, a holy venerate asked if they should charge in now. Old Man Ji shook his head and said that there was no hurry. After all, Zichen's world was in great turmoil. The great path's favor was very strong. If they charged in now, it would be very disadvantageous for them. Perhaps Zichen could use the great path to forcefully erase them. Zichen walked out of the room. The phenomenon between heaven and earth had come to an end. Almost all those who should have received benefits had broken through. Those who did not receive any benefits were just like that. This kind of opportunity was the only one in the Tianwu world. After becoming a holy venerate, Zichen saw the world more clearly. After seeing the scene of the Tianwu world clearly, Zichen frowned slightly. The current state of the world was much more serious than he had imagined. Fortunately, this time, he had broken through. This world had received a lot of favor. Powerhouses had sprung up like bamboo shoots after a rain. The situation would soon stabilize. From the looks of it, this battle was still worth fighting. Zichen raised his head and looked into the distance. His gaze had already seen the gods and demons outside the world. Previously, he actually had a chance to leave. The power of the spirit core was far beyond their imagination. However, Zichen was unwilling to leave. If he left, everyone else would have to die. In addition, Zichen did not think that the Tianwu world would not be able to withstand this battle, even if the number of holy venerates that had come was beyond his imagination. The situation outside had stabilized. The gods and demons had entered Zichen's world. The ancient tree king had broken through, but it did not continue to extend the ancient tree outside. Instead, it remained the same. The creatures and black ants that had emerged also burrowed back into the ground. The gods and demons arrived outside the city. As there was no longer the restricted airspace of the ancient tree, each of them stood in the air. They were densely packed and filled one's vision. Zichen was far away and looked at those powerhouses. In this situation, both sides should logically say a few words to boost their morale. However, they did not. The two sides looked at each other and did not say a word. The battle began just like that. The gods and demons invaded on a large scale and rushed directly to Zichen's various cities. Even the Thunder Spirit sector in the sky was attacked by the power soldiers. This was a true decisive battle. Neither side had the slightest intention of holding back. As the gods and demons approached, the first to attack were the ancient trees. After Jiano became a holy venerate, the grade of the ancient trees under his control had also been greatly improved. Without the restricted airspace, every ancient tree had become an independent entity. Countless branches flew into the sky. Some were like weapons, surging with a murderous aura. Some were like spiritual snakes, soft and tough. The enemies in the sky were densely packed. There was no need for special accuracy. Clanging sounds rang out. The protection that the gods and demons had put up quickly dimmed and then shattered. Poof! Poof! In the blink of an eye, a large number of gods and demons had been pierced by the branches. Blood splattered in the air.